Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, brothers. Welcome back, sisters. How y'all doing today? I hope you're doing good. I'm gonna try to stay calm here, even though these subjects right here gets me going. It gets me passionate. I want to be clear in my delivery, and I want to give y'all some vital information about these interesting topics. These are very interesting topics. Shout out to all of y'all. It's good to see the chat room, man. Shout out to every last one of y'all out there. Let me just say big shout out to my Patreon supporters, to the people that support me on Patreon. I really appreciate what you do. To the people that support me in any way that you support me, I appreciate it. And I just got to let you know that I appreciate you. If you donate to this channel via PayPal, Cash App, any of that stuff, I want to take the time out before this show and thank you. And let me give a shout out to everybody in the chat room, man. I see you out there, Sister Sassy. My brother Quentin out there, Mark Monagan, Soul Guy in the house, Jay Royal. See my sisters out there, my brothers out there. Uh, Zone 3 was good. All right. Oh, don't worry about last show, Sassy. We're going to continue it. We know that those topics get heated when we talk about man and woman. That's something we got to do more of just for the practice. We got to practice communicating. Shout out to One World, One Hood, Mike Corleone. Man, shout out to every last one of you in the chat. I don't got time to call all of y'all out because I know y'all ready for me to get into the topic, get into the show. So let me just do that. So today's mystery school, we're going to be talking about personal growth. And on another topic, we're going to be talking about the Annunaki, the Lemurians, the Atlanteans, the Aryan race, and Vision 2020, which was coined by Martin Kinney. I like that term, Vision 2020. So shout out to Martin Kinney for that. And a big shout out to my brother, your brother, Moses. And we appreciate you too, brother Moses, and all you do to support us. And you know you are very uh, supportive in this community, my brother, and we glad to have you. And that's real talk. And today, what I'm going to be talking to you about, I really want to get right into Anunnaki, Lemurians, and all that deep stuff. But I wanted to throw in something just for personal growth. Not much, 5-10 minutes on personal growth. Now, what I notice is a lot of people growth is stunted. They're not growing, they're not spreading their wings and being all that they can be. And one of the reasons why I find out why a lot of people are not growing or living to their highest potential, including myself, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm admiring my progress. And if you can't say that, then you're slipping. Nobody's where they want to be, but if you can't look back and see progress, you ain't growing. And I'm here today to show you why. Now, one of the number one reasons why people ain't growing is something called friends and family. Let me explain something to you now. A lot of people ain't gonna like what I'm gonna say. Let me explain something to y'all. I'm gonna give you a scenario. Let's just say your mama want you to be a big time corporate successful man. She see you that way. She see you as a corporate guru, smart man out here in America, uh, taking advantage of the capitalist system and just being a guru, a taco. You know, our mothers look at stuff like love and hip hop and different things of that nature. They may not be on our level of consciousness. So just most of your mothers, you probably can relate to this. She see her son, you know, maybe graduating Princeton, carrying a briefcase to work, and just pulling up in the Beamer. And, you know, mother see her son that way, you know. And your mama may see other women, sons, pulling up in the Beamer, carrying a briefcase. Now, that's all good. But what if you don't see yourself that way? Then you will feel the pressure to live up to friends or family expectations of you. So maybe you don't see yourself, you know, rolling through the hood in the Cadillac, impressing everybody with the good ass job up there in the good place in the county. You know, but maybe your aunties, your cousins, maybe all of them see you. Maybe they said, man, you know, my cousin, he's smart. Maybe he should be on this level. But what if that's all good and that's very healthy? That's good stuff from family. But the problem is, what if you don't see yourself that way? What if you see yourself with a castaway beard grow like down your fucking chest, living off grid, and there's some running water in Montana somewhere in buttfuck Montana in the woods where can't nobody find you, living off the land? What if you see yourself like that? What if you strive to be toward that? Now others will see you as a failure because you're not living up to how they envision you would turn out to be. Friends are your number one competitors, and it shouldn't be that way. I found that out coming up, that a lot of my friends and people, I got to be honest with you. When I got out of high school, I never ever had the spirit of competition with any of my peers or friends. I just wanted to motherfucking establish myself. And quite frankly, I'm gonna be honest with you. I moved away from home when I got out of high school, and I kind of forgot about motherfuckers. And I know that's weird too, right? Like, bro, you grew up with these folks and forgot about them? Yeah. I talked to my mom. She'd be like, you remember such and such? Well, I don't remember them no more, man. Out of sight, out of mind. I was focused on me. Uh, Now, the thing is this. When I did start connecting in the social media world, and I was happy to link up with old friends and stuff, they were just happy to compete with me. The conversations would always go into, well, what kind of car you got, man? You know, I got this kind of car. You know, my doing this. I bought a house. So, and that's all good. I'm all about wanting to hear my uh, friends or peers or whatever have experienced success since we departed or whatever. Yeah, that's always good news to hear. But it's a different thing when it becomes competition. And the reason I'm bringing this up with personal growth is because some of us don't grow because we're trying to keep up with the Joneses. Stop living up to other people's expectations of you and you'll grow. If you happy with where you are, and what I'm gonna tell you something now, this may not be a good example, but it's gonna get the job done. You're gonna get my point, even though it's a funny example. If someone wants to be a crackhead when they grow up and they grow up to be a crackhead, they are successful. They became what they wanted to be. You'll see that crackhead walk around smoking that crack for the rest of their life, happy as hell. Happy as hell. Why? Because they succeeded in their mind. Now, I use that funny example just to paint a picture for you. I ain't saying smoke goddamn crack. I'm saying it's dope when you don't give a fuck about other people's expectations. You set goals for yourself and you live by your own standards of success. Now, what I mean to see, this got everything to do with personal growth, everybody. You can't grow because you're not living for you. You're trying to impress people that don't give a fuck about you when you need to be impressing yourself because you know your shortcomings. You know you. You know what you need to work on and what will be successful. You know the personal achievements you need to accomplish in your life that other people don't know. That is success right there. When you start doing the things you know you got to do instead of the things you think will make others be impressed, then you'll grow. So that may be simple, may be like, well, hey man, I knew that. Well, good for you. The ancestors told me to open up with that. Now let's get into the Annunaki, Lemurians, Atlanteans, the Aryans in 2020 vision. And hit the like button. It'll like you back. Trust me, if you like it, it'll like you. So listen, people, we're talking about advanced human races, right? Advanced human races. Now, I named four, but there are many more. The four I'm going to be talking about today in the title are the ones that are the most popular. So let's talk about those. And one thing I want to foundate this presentation upon is a fact. And shout out to the sister Soul Guide. She said, great opening, Bro Sanchez. Thank you, my sister. Love you. Thank you for that support. And and hold on a second. There was somebody else as well, wasn't it? Ish Perry. Peace to you, Ish Perry. Thanks everybody for the support. Now we talking about advanced races. Now these four, we know when we say advanced races, we're talking about humans, our original ancestors, primordial ancestors that gave birth to the human race. We're going to be talking about human origins. And like I said, we're going to foundate the presentation on a very important fact. Now, that fact is that globalists and flat earthers believe in Annunaki, Lemurians, Atlanteans, and Aryans. But why? Now, this is going to be very, very interesting because there are a lot of flat earthers that don't believe in advanced races, and there are a lot of flat earthers that do. And for the flat earthers that believe in advanced races, it's very peculiar because this is one of the main beliefs in the globe theology. This is a fact. I came out of the Black conscious community being taught that I descended from the Anunnaki and that they descended from Sirius star system. The first advanced race was the Atlanteans, according to Black conscious community. When I was in the Black conscious community, I was under a certain doctrine that taught that it started from the Atlanteans. But we descended from the Anunnaki when we fell from Earth. When we was on Sirius star system, we was under the Atlanteans. But when we fell to Earth, we was under the Anunnaki and we were slaves mining gold in Africa. This is a popular theology in the Black conscious community. Now, I'm going to get somewhere here. Y'all know you got to let me build up to my point. We finna get it in. We got to keep that in mind, that one of the centering aspects of heliocentrism is advanced races, and that there's a huge group of flat earthers who still adopt the idea of advanced races. And we got to talk about that. So what exactly is an advanced race in a nutshell? I think we already know, but let's get into it. Now on the screen here, we're going to read some of these. We ain't going to go real deep. We only need a little bit because we all know a little bit about them. Plus, I'll be giving you information as well. So the Anunnaki, also transcribed as Annunaki, Annuna, Anunnaki, and other variations, are a group of deities that appear in the mythological traditions of the ancient Sumerians, Akkadians, Assyrians, and Babylonians. Now, descriptions of how many Anunnaki there were and what role they fulfill are inconsistent and often contradictory. You got to realize this. Listen, what I'm gonna be doing, if you ain't caught the gist yet, is debunking advanced races and giving you the truth about what is the original advanced race, if there is any. I'm gonna tell you what are the Hyperboreans, who are the advanced races. Stay with me, but first we got to go through the four that we've been taught. We got to get this mystery out the way with this Anunnaki. We got to get all this out the way with Lemurians, Atlanteans, all of this, briefly. Okay, so again, these are mythological deities. We got to keep this in mind. We got to keep in mind that Jesus is a mythological deity. Allah is a mythological deity. Annunaki is a mythological deity. And after today, guess what you're going to realize, people? Anybody that believe in the Anunnaki, they're basically a mythological form of this first pharaoh called Narmer. I told you guys about him. I told you that the God of the New World Order is this guy right here. Let me show you something. Let me show you something. Sacred geometry will reveal to us that when you get into Anunnaki worship, you're leading back to Dagon worship. Now, if you tracking with me, let me get a flat power if I already dropped one bomb with sacred geometry. You know Mundra Mystery School is gonna be lit. Let me get the flat power if you already see that I done fucking debunked it. If you already see how powerful what I just did was, let me get a flat power. If you still don't get it, I'll reiterate it. Sacred geometry, people. Sacred geometry. Here is the first motherfucker. This is Narmer. This is a mythological form of Narmer. What did they tell you about the Anunnaki? They told you the Anunnaki was fish people. People, I'm trying to free your mind from mythology and give you reality. But before I can give you the reality, I gotta debunk the mythology that is fucking going rampant around the flat earth community. Shout out the Glitch in the Matrix. Thank you, Glitch. Woo, thank you for the donation, but thank you even more for saying take your time, because I'm about to use up too much energy too soon. And I need to know that I can go slow with y'all, because this kind of get under my skin. I see a lot of deception going on in the community, that people want to keep you believing in sky gods, sky daddies, fish gods like Jesus. This is another form of Jesus. You wonder why Brother Sanchez don't talk about Hyperboreans and Lemurians and Anunnakis and all of that old Atlanteans and Aryans? Because all of these are different points in history where we personified the first pope and his cabinet. In other words, Jesus had disciples, just like the god El had the Elohim, just like Santa had the elves. These are the same God of the New World Order in different forms. I keep telling you he got over thousands of forms, but we get caught up in some of these forms and we fall right back into mythology. This is the God of the New World Order, folks. Why is he called the Anunnaki? Because the word breaks down into two names. The word breaks down into two names. What is the word Anunnaki? Are y'all ready for a lesson? Are you ready for a lesson? Let me give you the word Anunnaki. First of all, to understand the word Anunnaki, you got to know about a god called Anubis. Or the Baphomet. See, people, I ain't been doing that but trying to wake y'all up. It's a bunch of Masons in this community that's leading y'all right back to mythology, leading you right back to the first pharaoh. Now, this is the god Anubis. It's also a god called Anu. This became the Anunnaki. Here you go. This is the god Anu. Can you see him sitting on his throne? I told you about heretic scale. Why is he big? People say that the Anunnaki were giants, right? No, they was not giants. People are giving you pseudoscience. Listen to me, people. There's something called heretic scale. Let's read. When in ancient days, they used heretic scale in their artwork. And the heretic scale is a system used to visually communicate power in Egyptian as well as the art of other cultures, including the ancient Near East, that would be Samaria, where the word Anunnaki come from. I'm going to say it again. Ancient Near East would be Samaria, where the Anunnaki was said to come from. And in the medieval European art, where the Holocaust come from, they was enforcing it in the form of Zeus. Zeus was personified as a giant because in the medieval European art, they had him big as hell and everybody else small, like they do today with Jesus. I'm trying to free your mind. Now listen. So, for example, so significant, listen to me, significant or important individuals such as pharaohs were depicted as being much larger than any figures in a scene. Now let's look at an example. So we know at one point the Virgin Mary was the center of Christian religion before Jesus. And this is why the Catholic Church still are under the Great Mother Mary. We know she's the foundation. And in this picture here, you see that they use heretic scale to portray her significance. Now a dumbass would come along and say, see, Virgin Mary was a giant. That's why people believe the Pharaoh was a giant, y'all. And I'm just trying to wake them up. In this picture, you see heretic scale. The Pharaoh wasn't a giant, y'all. It was heretic scale why they made him big. Have you ever been to Abraham Lincoln statue? When you go to Abraham Lincoln statue, you feel like an ant compared to Abraham Lincoln. That's heretic scale. So in the future, you're going to have future dumbasses looking at Abraham Lincoln statue saying Abraham Lincoln was a giant. That's what we doing today like dumbasses. Because we don't know about heretic scale. Now let's get that out the way before we go any further. That there were no goddamn giants called the Anunnaki. These were the first rulers, pharaohs, kings. And they called themselves Anunnaki. And they adopted that name from our ancestors. Why? I'm giving you one half of the name. We know about heretic scale now, so we understand when we say Anunnaki, that the first word in it is Anu, which is this god right here, the first pharaoh. The Naki is his family, right? So in other words, you have the ruler and you have the ruler's family. Let me show you another collage so I can maybe, I'm gonna have to look for this real quick. But if you wait, it'll be worth your time. Hold on a minute. Hold on, wait a minute. I'm gonna have to search for it. It's gonna take a minute. Y'all got to be patient with me. One minute. 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. If I ain't gonna keep you waiting too long, damn it, I hope I can find this. All right, people, I got a lot of drives and I'm trying to find this folder. I need to access some stuff for y'all. This is very, very aggravating. Let me try one more thing and then we're gonna keep going. One more search. This is fucking crazy. And when I get off live, that's when it's gonna pop up and I'm gonna find it. Well, I ain't gonna keep y'all waiting. Basically, what I was gonna pull up to you how the Pharaoh ruled with a family. When we say royal families, I was gonna show you a collage and a timeline when this God got on the throne up until now. And I thought that'll be very useful and important. But I don't want to slow the momentum down unless y'all. Okay, they said take your time. Take your time. Okay. Well, in that case, give me 2 more minutes. Because if I find this, it's gonna be worthwhile. And I apologize for. I didn't think I was gonna need this folder. I would have did all this searching before the show. And it's just a result of having too much information. Hold on a minute. Because if I find it, it's really going to be an asset to the presentation. I'll edit all of this out while I'm searching. But damn, man, damn it. This sucks for real. All right, I give up. I give up. I don't want to give up, but damn, I can't spend the show looking for it. This is crazy. Oh, I found it. I know where it's at. Hold on, I just now I know where it's at, people. Hold on. Hold up 1 minute, y'all. One more search. I promise this the last one. If I don't find it this time, that's it. I know what folder's in. Damn, now I can't find that folder. I'm gonna organize all this in the future. Okay. I think I found it. It's opening up. Hold on. I think I found it. That wasn't it. All right, I'm gonna just fuck it, man. All right, I'm gonna just move on. I'm gonna move on, man. I'm gonna just move on. All right, I'm sorry about that. Let's just move on. So we breaking down the word Anunnaki. The first word is Anu, which is another name for the god Narmer. Okay, and Narmer, if you didn't watch my her story, the his story series, he's the first ruler of the NWO, will be the world's first pope. Remember, during these times, there was no government. During these times, religion was government, okay? Religion was government during this time. You got to keep that in mind. That's why when I say that the world's first ruler was a pope, people be like, well, the pope don't rule the world. Well, enlightened folks know that the pope is a very powerful role in the royal family and in the new world order. But what we fail to realize is how far back this go. The Pope does. He's actually the individual representation of the male ruler in the flesh. The Pope would be Anu in the flesh. And he goes around with his hat on. Look, this is why Santa Claus is synonymous with this god as well. This is the god Saturn. This is the god Saturn. This is the god Saturn, Santa, Jesus. We can get, this is a host of gods. And when you talk about Saturn, here he go with his ring around. All right, the ring that's around him. This became Saturn. He have on these wings, right? And the wings form like an X, right? Let me show you what you're dealing with. The wings that you see on a Sumerian god Anu are no different than this right here. Hold on. Okay. Let me see if I can get him back up here for you. There you go. Now pay attention to Jesus' head, right? What the God Anu is representing is the North Pole at the center of the earth. And surrounding that point of singularity are four corners. And our world is a ring. This Lord of the Rings is personifying our earth. And then it became Geb later. He became Geb later, laid down, personifying the ground we walk upon, as you can see up there in Norse World Tree. That X marks the spot. Jesus on Calvary is that mountain in the middle. We went over this, but that's X marks the spot. That's why his wings shaped that way. And I just had to throw that in there to show you this is the same God. When you say Anunnaki, you might as well just say Jesus. You might as well. Anunnaki is basically saying Anu with his Nazis or his Nagis. The Naki are the Nagi. Let me show you who the Nagis are. Let me show you the second half of the name. When you take the word Anu and you mix it with the word Naki, you're saying that basically God, the word Anu really means A-N-E-W. That which makes things anew. And it became a god called Anubis. But this is a renewal god, a recycling god. So Anu and Naki. Why Naki? Because the Naki were beings. We're talking about a plural form here. Because when you talk about Jesus, he had a plural form called disciples. That was an extension of his message. Without the disciples, his message couldn't have been extended. What you're looking at is a pyramid scheme. You're looking at the 12 disciples branching out from a point of singularity. It looked like a triangle, just like you see here. So this would be Jesus. This would be the disciples around him. People, open your eyes. There's only one code to the cosmos. Jesus with the disciples around him was Anu with the Nagis around him. These are called Nakis or Nazis. In fact, Adolf Hitler named his troops after these serpents, and he adopted the swastika. Adolf Hitler, I showed y'all that collage. I don't think I can't access it now. I can access that now. We want everybody, because, you know, might be new people tuning in. They might say, well, we don't know what you mean. So we'll put this up. I told you what the God Anu means. I told you what the God Anu means. Anu is just another word for God, because God makes things anew again, new again. Jesus said, I come to make all things new, because he was Anubis or Annunaki. The Naki are the disciples that followed him. Just like before Jesus, you had the god El, but El traveled with the Elohim, which is the plural form. Santa had reindeers. All of these gods got an extension, and that's another way of saying that the North Pole had 4 corners, and each 4 corners represent 90 degrees, which can be broken up into 3 sets of 30s. There go your 12 disciples. Open up your eyes and listen to what I'm saying. Let me blow this up for you. It's numerology, people. Now, I'm going to do this slow. You know what? I got a better collage that I can do this with, and it'll make better sense than this one. We finna talk about the number 12 being born from a point of singularity in a way like you never heard before. When we talk about these advanced races, we ain't even told you what they are yet. We getting into the etymology of how this stuff got bent and corrupted. It got bent and corrupted. So hold on a second. We're talking about the 12. Here you go. Why did Jesus have 12 disciples? Well, listen, people. Jesus represents the North Pole. And the North Pole got 4 original homelands of humanity around it. And those have 3 points each. They can be separated into 3 sections each. And another way you can look at this in numerology is that each continent is a triangle, which is 30 degrees, 30. You can look at that, my bad. You can look at that as 90, 90, 90, 90, giving you 360. But them 90s break down to 30, 30, 30. Now, if you take those 4 triangles and multiply them by the points that they separate by, because if you were to divide each of those 4 triangles, you would divide them into 30 degrees or 3. So 4 times 3 will give you 12. Saturn is synonymous with the 4-leaf clover, as you can see in the bottom left. Jesus represents the North Pole. But these 12 months, we have 12 months, y'all, because when the sky is doing this 360 circuit, each corner has 30, 30, 30. You can separate the sky the way I'm doing the cosmos right now, people. So if you want to go up there to the Last Supper, you can look at each of them disciples as January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Of course, July and August was called something different, and it was in a different order. But the number 12 is another way you can divide up the sky. and you can do it in a 10-month calendar as well, and even 9-month calendars. Long as it's divisible by 360, you can make a calendar with it. And whatever you divide that 360 by will determine how many months your calendar gonna have. So today we got the 12-month calendar, but since they did so much of time is off, so we have leap year, we don't get a full 360-degree year. We get this extra 5 days because it's out of sync. They thought they can add 5 days to the. What happened was when Pope Gregory came with the Gregorian calendar, they stopped keeping track of time and we forgot what time it was for a couple years. So when they started back count time, they just fucking came with a number. I know you like, damn, bro, Sanchez, for real, for real. They just started at like 5,000 and something and counted time down, then start counting back up again. And what the dumbest said, hey, if we add 5 days on it here, it'll sync back up and it'll catch back, you know, it'll eventually sync back up in the future with the sky. So sometime it be certain months and it be hot as fuck and y'all be like, damn, it ain't even summertime yet. It's supposed to be winter, but it's hot as fuck. Well, we still kind of out of sync. We in sync for the most part. The calendar is synced to what the way we experience the seasons, but not perfectly. Not as it would be with the ancestors who actually needed it to be perfect because they actually really depended on the land and the crops. Today we've desecrated the land and we depend more on vampirism, slaughterhouses. We don't follow the plants and the herds anymore to fertilize those crops. We had different calendars that were synced to agriculture as opposed to hunting. We followed the natural crop circulation as opposed to cowboys tracking the herds and under the solar calendars. So this is a very vampiric society we in today, and they have their own timekeeping system because they have a different value system than the ancestors who use lunar calendars to do things, other things that was at the foundation of their society, such as veganism, matriarchal things that were centered around the moon, like the woman's body. So when women's rule, we had lunar calendars because we know women are very synced to the moon. But that's another subject. What I want to basically put in your head was how the calendrical system changes with religion, because the diets change, what we seeking after change, and certain things that we build our calendars around change, and we start to divide them up different now because we got a new way of living. We live in a more fast world today, which is very good for the Gregorian system. You know, we are very capitalistic people who we're so far away from the slow ancient system that the only thing they had to come with a new system to sustain this ideology, basically. Now we're gonna get back on this Annunaki and we're gonna move on to Atlanteans, Lemurians, and we're gonna be here for a minute because I got a lot for you. But let me take just a 1 minute break. I mean just 1 minute. So again, this is why Jesus had 12 disciples. So people, one thing you got to look at is when you look at a table have 4 legs, and each leg of the table represent a triangle or a slice of the pie. Do you get what I'm saying? Put a 1 in the chat room if you get what I'm saying. All right. If I told you to take a square table with 4 legs and chop it into 4 equal slices, you will make a plus sign in the middle. And each leg would be stuck with a triangle, now won't it? When you pull them apart, each leg would have a triangle, and then you bring them together to make a square. This is how they divine up this Last Supper table. Basically, what I'm giving you right now is the Da Vinci Code. But they ain't gonna tell you this in the movie. They gonna act like it's some other shit, you know. All right, this how you split a table. Now, the ground we walking on is a table, and in science, they call it the periodic table. All right, the periodic table is beneath your feet and above your head. But in particularly, all of the heaviest metals, most of the elements on that periodic table are beneath your feet on the surface of the earth. So basically, we're walking upon this Last Supper table, which is the periodic table. And basically, each month can be synced to a constellation, which can be governed over a certain family of elements on that table. So this is science we dealing with, right? You have the 12 disciples split up in 4 groups of 3s because we have 12 months split up in 4 seasons, and each of the 4 seasons have about 3 months, give or take, each. So we're talking about calendrical science, people. This became the Annunaki. And I'm showing you the image of the spiral and the swastika. This is the symbol that Adolf Hitler adopted. And he called his troops Nazis. The G is also can be pronounced Z, or Z. Right? So the Nagini are the Naginis. Remember that these were genies as well, the genies in the lamp. And that can be pronounced Z. This is the god of Zoro religion. Whenever you see that Z. So it became a god called Mazda or Zoro. And I will show you that god, Mazda, which they named a car after him. Today they got a car company. Here he go right here. This is Saturn with the ring around him. But look at his bent hand. Look how he got his hand bent. What I like to teach, we're detectives, y'all. And what we do, we crack the code of the cosmos using sacred geometry. And when you look at this God, he always got this hand right. This is black power. This is Pledge of Allegiance. This is white power. This is all of the divisive rhetoric that you see around the world that create this God's kingdom. In other words, he ruled out of divisiveness, out of force. And like I said, his symbol is on the baking soda box because baking soda is dealing with rising. And this God is dealing with rising, resurrection. So you see his arm on the baking soda box. I'm just giving you the sacred geometrical symbolism that's going to set you free. Why did I say he's the Baphomet? If you look at different forms of this God, he take on a lion. This became the Sphinx. See, the crazy thing about the Sphinx is that it's not exclusive to Egypt. There are many sphinxes all around the world in reverence of this first pharaoh called Ahura Mazda. People, I just gave you the damn Sphinx. Nobody never gave you that. I gotta take the shit I'm doing, I'm not gonna go down in no book of history for my research because of course they hid this from you. But people still talk about what y'all think the Sphinx is. This is a damn god they've been worshiping, dude. Here go the Sphinx right here. Tony the motherfucking tiger. Half human, half beast. Here he go right here. The Baphomet. Capricorn. Jesus, the Lamb. And I gotta sync it this way because people think they talking about something different when they say Annunaki. So when you say Annunaki, Jesus is the God Anu, and his Nakis are his disciples. You had Adolf, and then you had the Nazis, right? You had Jesus and the disciples. You had Anu and the Nagis. and you put them together, you get Anunnakis. So here you go. I'm just going to decode all of these, and right now I'm going to show you some different depictions of the Anunnaki, and we're going to go even deeper now. See, here go that wheel of life. This is the cosmic wheel. You notice the earth, the all-seeing eye. And when you see this God sitting on the throne right there, let me show you what you're looking at. Remember, you got 4 legs of a table. A table got 4 legs, and if you separate the table in 4, each leg will be left with a triangle or a corner. So this is a Christian depiction of our cosmos. And what we want to look at too is those 4 legs that I showed you with the Last Supper. Now, before we go any further, we just looking at the parallels, right? Now let's move up a bit and let's look at that throne of God, right? Now, let me do this. You see the God I knew right here. Here is the earth right here. And here go the Nakis, 3 of them. Now, if this was extended, it'll be a bunch of them, like kind of like this. Anu and the Nakis. How many of them in it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I would guess that is 12 of them. And that would be synonymous of this same cosmology here, people. Can you see it? They carved it in the wall. Instead of a table, they got him on some wings with the disciples below him. What I'm trying to show you is how to see it all as the same thing, so you don't ever be fooled with mythology. It's only one code, and that's flat earth, y'all. And if you look for flat earth and everything, you'll find it. You'll find it. Clear as day. Undisputable. Now check this out. This is where it gets deep. If you look at the throne of God up there, you see a bunch of little bitty thrones surrounding him. He ain't up there alone. Them little bitty spikes you see around that throne of God, that's what they talking about in Revelation. When John of Patmos, he went and he beheld the God on the throne. Whoever read the book of Revelation, I read that book twice from beginning to end. And I can tell you now, this is the vision that John saw when he went to the kingdom of heaven. It's mythological, it wasn't real. Here go this damn mythological that created the book of Revelation right here. When they say he had feet of brass and he beheld his throne and it was, hold on. They said it was many angels around the throne and he was looking down at the kingdom of the earth. Here is God right here, y'all. Here is the kingdom of the earth spinning on the great cosmic wheel, spinning the sky. This is the potter's wheel. This is spinning around. We're living inside of here. In other words, this is a depiction of the Sumerian heaven. This would be the throne of God where he's looking over the earth with all of his angels. And another depiction of that is here. If you look at the top, the throne of God looking below over the earth, looking down at the earth below, and all of them thrones around him. This was the vision that was spoke of in Revelation. I beheld, he had feet of brass, and he sat on the throne, and there were many other high council members around this God in heaven. Archangels and different high-ranking bishops in heaven. This is what you're looking at. I'm giving you the ancient imagery to the text. Now, why did they take these images away and only gave people just the Bible without the illustrations with it today? Because if they would give them the images, everybody would be flat earthers still. Can you imagine if every Christian on earth was a flat earther? There would be no space programs. there would be no literal believing in Jesus because they would know the truth that he's just a personification of free energy. We went over that. But what I'm showing you is why they took away these images with the biblical stories. Now, people arguing about what these texts mean. What does that mean, man? Well, they don't have the images that the ancients had when they was telling these stories. And they took these images away because all of this literature is based around flat earth cosmology. And when they got done away with flat earth cosmology, they had to do away with the images, but they kept the literature. That's why nobody making no sense out of the literature. They trying to sink this stuff to the globe. So when they say in the beginning, God creating heaven and earth, they don't see that heaven was created first, then the earth. They don't see that for God to be looking down upon the waters of the earth, it had to be flat. And this was like a painter looking at a canvas. For it to be corners, as the Bible spoke of, it couldn't have been a globe. So they have a problem that they sink in the biblical Eden to a North Pole on a globe where compasses would have to point down into the ground, but compasses don't do that. So there's been a lot of argument with religion and science, and it's an argument to keep us arguing so we ain't getting the truth. The people that started the argument wanted us to live out the argument so we don't get to the truth. So we argue what these words mean, and we make up these good doctrines and all of that, and they give men's awards for having the best belief on what they think, how they interpret it. But when they really know the truth, you wouldn't be awarding a few men for giving their interpretations. If you just told everybody the universal truth, we would all be rewarded by that truth freeing us all instead of a few people. So science ain't what it should be. It don't lead us to the truth. It lead us to more mythologies and more interpretations of the truth. And that's what's happening in flat earth with a bunch of these teachers that's giving you Atlanteans, Lemurians, Sumerian. They giving you all of this stuff as literal science, but it's literature mythology. Let me repeat. They're giving it to you as literal science when it's literature and it's mythology. And it's hiding the real science. Now, so we sinking together the Annunaki right now. We ain't ready to move on yet. The next one gonna be Lemurian. So whenever you see this God, now what you got to realize is, for the longest you've been hearing the word Annunaki, and what you don't realize, that's a plural word. Key at the end of some of these words makes it plural. All right? When you talk about the Naki, you don't have to put an S. It's kind of redundant to put an S behind Nazis. Just like when you say oxen, you wouldn't say, look at the oxens. Oxen itself is plural. Naki is plural. Heim is plural. E-I-M is plural. Like, for example, the singular name of God is El. The plural name of God, when he started spanning his consciousness into humans, become Elohim. One ox is just an ox, but a bunch of ox is oxen. A Nagi is just a Nagi, but in a plural form, you don't have to put an S. In other words, they are called the Nagi. The Nagi. The S is optional. It's still plural. That's important to know when you start getting into etymology. Because often what you'll notice is that you will see the word Annunaki, but you don't often see a bunch of motherfuckers. Like this image, which is the depiction of the Annunaki, but it's just one giant dude. I'll show you some more. For example, here you have 4 beings. This is a plural depiction. But what you're looking at is one dude what it is this tree of life is like a mirror. The original God is right here at the top of the tree. But once he stand in unison with the tree right above it, just like you stand in a mirror, you multiply your image. This is the expansion of God. Each of these four beings is that same being in the damn middle, y'all. If you look at the God in the middle, his hands look the same way their hands look. They're just expansions of him. It's like a tent, right? You got a point from the pole in the middle, and from that point from the pole in the middle of the tent, you get these four corners, right? This is what this is. It's a tent, y'all. These the four corners of the tent, and this the pole in the middle. This all it is, y'all. It's called expansion. Expansion became the Big Bang Theory, which is a bullhorn. A bullhorn, right? It's the voice of God speaking creation through a bullhorn. Now, they teach this for science, but the truth is that science is just another Christianized religion. The Big Bang is the book of Genesis to you science heads who talk about, I don't deal with the Bible. Hotep, nigga. Black power. I don't deal with the white man Bible. Yes, you do, because you believe in the Big Bang. This is let there be light. This is the Bible. It's the same shit, him speaking it into existence. This is the god Saturn, y'all. You see that all of our creation, according to them, is coming from a ring god. Look at this, man. This is Saturn back here. It's a bunch of rings that's doing the talking, man. These rings are talking. This is the god Saturn. Here we go right here. This who started the Big Bang deception. They changed the science when that first pharaoh got on the throne. So everything came from him now. Let there be light and expansion, a tent. You want to know what's so deep about it? If you look at this cone, they telling you how he took the place of the great mother. Check this out. She represents expansion. She represents a tent because she wear a dress. So why did the pharaoh wear a dress or skirt? Because they put themselves in the place of the great mother. It's homosexual. See how she represents the tent of life? With that skirt on, expansion. And they took this concept and put the goddess right here. See, if you flip this up, tilt it, you'll see what we're saying. It's the same goddess creating the cosmos. All right. Here she go. Here go her dress with the little ridges in it, the little stripes in it. Here it is. Okay. Nothing is original that they give you. They turned this goddess into Saturn. See, she got rings, y'all. Here go her rings on her dress right here. Fringes. Her fringes are her rings. All right. And back in those days, younger ladies didn't have long dresses. You know how the young girls wear the short skirts today? It's actually some truth to that. You gain more fringes with age, with wisdom. That became a wedding dress. So the oldest oracles had long dresses like the bride, like the women we marry today. This is a history to all of this, y'all. I'm just giving it to you. You see, it's called expansion. And you would put on another fringe on your dress as you age, women. until it was time for you to be married. You had a long dress with age. This showed your wisdom, your status. Now they took these rings that the women had on their dress and they put them around the man. And today when you get Super Bowls and you become an OG, you grow in age, you get rings when you accomplish shit as you grow. But I'm showing you how this come from matriarch to patriarch. They ripped off women. This is a desecration of what you, the ones personified this before it became the Big Bang. See, what science don't want to tell everybody is that the woman hold the secrets of the cosmos. Why they got us playing around, launching little goofy equipment up in the sky that ain't going nowhere, Hubble telescopes and all of this stuff. They want you to think that it's a telescope that's been traveling around this vacuum ever since the 50s, and nobody never had to go up there and clean the lens off. It ain't never bumped into nothing. The signal ain't never. Come on, folks, let's be for real now. If you think that, see, and they sending you back CGI images telling you, yeah, Hubble is passing another galaxy now. It's been up there. This the 10-year tradition of Hubble is still going, and we ain't clinked the lens yet, but the goddamn picture's still clear. See, they want to take away the fact that you can't do all that to unlock the secrets of creation. The only way you can unlock them is by studying the woman's biology. Because the earth is laid out like a woman's body with the womb at the middle until they replaced it with this damn God who now want to represent rebirth when we know that we was born through the woman. So why wouldn't you be reborn through the woman instead of the dude? What nature gonna change it now? You came here born through a woman, and as you grew up, somebody taught you was going to be reborn through a man. Okay, let that sit for a minute. Let's keep moving. So you science nuts, you still are Christians. You atheists who believe in the Big Bang. You still believe in that God who's Saturn, who's spoken into existence. Now this is expansion. Like I said, expansion. Right? You see, expansion. Very simple. Expansion. When Jesus take one piece of bread and break it into pieces and spread it around the table, it's called expansion. He's making a tent. And he's got to split that shit in tenths for it to be even. Listen, people. Listen to me. If I give you a 360-degree birthday cake and I tell you to split it evenly between 12 people, guess what? You're going to have to split it in tenths. This is math. This is called a tent. Listen, the energy starts right here. Then from this point, it spreads out and it starts to split itself evenly. Right here, the energy starts. But the reason it's 0 degrees is because once it expands itself, now listen to what I'm going to tell you. This point represents 360 degrees, but we call it the 0 degree point. Why? Because that 360 is split evenly throughout the 4 corners when it expands itself. So even though this point represents 360, it represents 0 because it's giving 90 of that 360 to this corner. It's giving 90 of it over here. It's giving 90 back there, and it's giving 90 here. So it's spreading itself out evenly into 4 corners of 90 degrees. So it don't have to hold at 360. It can now rest light and be 0 degrees. That's the North Pole, Mount Meru. That's why it's 0 degrees. It would be 360 if it didn't spread out to be light. So when we talk about accessing your light body, we say you got to expand your consciousness. Expansion is becoming light. The crazy thing about it is, like I said, this is 360 and 0 at the same time for the reasons that I just said. 360 is equivalent to infinity. It's the number by which everything recycled. It represents completion, basically. It's divisible by all the sacred numbers like 9, 10, numbers dealing with the binary code. It's divisible evenly by them. If we knew what the number infinity was, it would be divisible by 360. So basically 360 starts here. The circle of life. Look, basically, this is what you're looking at. Because they said we originated from the Annunaki. We didn't originate from the Annunaki. We originated from the spiral of life. And I can show you the great Mayan mother. She got this spiral on her belly. Let me show you something. Back in prehistoric time, you had all of these spiral goddesses, which predates all the world goddesses today. Much love to all my women out there. I love y'all. On a spiritual level, y'all created the cosmos. And if you look at this image, these are images of the spiral goddesses. All over the world, people worship these spiral goddesses. No one worship these spiral goddesses today. You know what we worship today? A spiral galaxy. They replace the women. See, the earth is a huge woman. Here she go. They call the Virgin Mary. She gave birth without sex, y'all. That's how humans was created. You talk about a virgin birth. Nobody had to fuck the earth. Excuse my language. Let me calm down. Hold on. Let me calm my ass down a minute. So nobody had to have sex with the earth so humans can rise up out the ground after she was pregnant. This is a personification of that which creates life on earth, being a woman in biology, micro and macro. The concept of her anatomy is what we call the earth. So if we wanted to know what the earth is, we can study the woman's body. It's as above, so below. They want us to think that the earth is chaotic because they got it synced with the male's physiology. These spiral goddesses became a god called Saturn with rings around him. People, these figurines are prehistoric. They predate all of these gods. That's what I'm telling. People was talking about this before the Milky Way galaxy, man. They was saying how we come from the center of a cosmic mother, a great mother, and they turned her into a galaxy. But the word galaxy just means the axis of the girl. Gal-axy. The gal's axis is this pivotal point that you call your belly button today. Wasn't that what connected you to your mother and fed you life? And if that was severed, you would have died in that microcosmic womb that we call a fetal bag. That was your first home. Before you were born into the earth, you were born into your mother. Before you was a human, you was a fetus. You forget that part. You wasn't a human when you was in that belly. You had to learn how to be a human. You was something else when you were born into your first world, which was your mama. And your first North Pole that sustained you was that umbilical cord. Micro and macro. It didn't change when you came out of the belly. You was born into the belly of a bigger woman, and they call her nut, which is the word we hear in the word pregnant. Pregnant. She represents a pregnant belly, housing all the human lives on earth, because your soul is waiting to be born out of the body. It's a continuum of births and rebirths or resurrections. And each time you're born in a belly or a cocoon to launch out a greater potential that will reside in a greater world beyond the one that you're currently in. So we talk about human origins. We come from a point of singularity of pure divine consciousness. It can't be defined as Annunaki. It can't be defined as Lemurian. It can only be defined as an expansion of divine intelligence. And I showed you about the importance of expansion. As humans learn more and expand our consciousness, so does the source intelligence. It can only expand its consciousness or intelligence through the experience of all conscious beings in creation. It's a symbiotic relationship. A teacher cannot expand their curriculum without practicing how to be a better teacher with the students. So the teacher don't just teach the students teach the teacher how to be a damn better teacher. It's symbiotic. The cosmos is making adjustments according to the collective complaints. In other words, it don't know what heaven is until we collectively define it. And right now we defining it collectively as a hellhole. So we got to reprogram the matrix, so to speak. So these spiral goddesses were what became the Milky Way. People wonder, what does this have to do with milk? Why do they call this spiral galaxy the Milky Way? Look at these goddesses. What do you notice about them? All of them got their breasts hanging. All of them got their breasts hanging. And no, they wouldn't represent breast cancer. See the dang on blasphemy women? See how they attacking you with poisons because they hate you? Women, we used to worship your breasts. Now they got you wearing pink because they fucking destroying your breasts with metals in the bra, deodorant under. You know, that damn deodorant you wear right there is right there by your breast. And that deodorant got all aluminums and shit. And that deodorant is giving you breast cancer along with the bra, along with your diet, along with, you know, the titties supposed to hang. Don't none of these goddesses got a bra on. So today they got breast cancer with the breasts out. Women take their breasts out to represent breast cancer. That's blasphemy. The women had the breasts out to represent. Let me show you what they want to represent real quick with the breasts out. Before the woman was turned to Santa Claus, we sat on her lap. We gave reverence to her breast, which is a nipple that sustained us when we were an infant. Now, the thing about that is that's a macrocosmic science to this. The North Pole is a giant breast. It's a giant nipple that we suck on for energy. And we sit on a mother's lap while we do it. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Here's a Dogon conception of the cosmos, as long as many conceptions from around the world. And what we want to pay attention to is This is the great mother right here with her hands raised. She always got her hands raised up. Look at her right there on the screen. That represents balance. Look at here. She keep her hands raised up for balance. Here she go, balancing the sun and moon. Now we sitting right on top of her lap. If you look at her, now see the ancestors personified the cosmos as a woman. And you can see she got the sun and moon going around her waist. And she's the one hula hooping. The word hula is spiritual. See, what you got to realize is what you see here is what they gave you here. Hula hooping requires balance. Hula hooping works at the center of the human at the waistline. And if you don't move that waist right and gyrate it like a serpent, right at the base of the spine where the kundalini energy, you're going to drop the loop. You ain't going to be able to balance that hula hoop. You see? That hula hoop is right there where the sex energy, right at the base of the root chakra. And once you go to grinding it, let me stop, y'all. Let me stop now. That's called balance. That create life. You're going to have a baby when you start doing all this on camera now. See that? I'm just giving you sex magic, symbolism, balance right here. Right here. And they turned that resurrecting energy into a god, which was personified by a woman prior to that. But here she go. The Dogon said her name was Anna or Amma, and that became Annunaki. But it became Santa. The name Anna, which was the name of this goddess, or Amma, it became Santa. And see, if you look at this picture, you can see how while we sit on Santa's lap, if Santa represent Geb or the ground we walk on, and if this was what the Dogon was telling us when they personified the goddess with the sun and moon going around her waist like a hula hoop, we would be sitting right on her lap, y'all, right on her two little legs. It would be night and day. Or the two hemispheres, what we call the hemisplanes, because we on a flat plane, split by that pole, which would be her spinal cord. Now, ain't this your same anatomy? Ain't the two halves of your body split by a pole? Now, what do the two halves of your body do? They work in polar opposition to each other to bring balance, like a seesaw. When one up, one is down. When one down, one is up. That's night and day. This is yin and yang. And this is opposites attracting to complement each other. It's polarities, meaning they polar opposites, but they work great together like peanut butter and jelly. Polar opposites, but damn, don't they go so good together. Man and woman are polar opposites, but they complement each other. A battery is made out of polar opposites, a negative end and positive end, but boy, it can't create no power without it. So sun and moon is split by this spine in the middle that split the polarities evenly, like Jesus did at that Last Supper table. So they turned her knees into a table. But the fruit upon the table is the humans, right? That's created under the influence of the 12 zodiac and Polaris being Jesus. Let me take you back real quick. We're going to bounce around. Let me pull this back up for you so you can stay on track with me. One second. One second. Here you go. Jesus represent Polaris, not the sun. Did you hear me? Jesus don't represent the sun. Jesus represent that which it gave birth to the sun. The brightest star in the sky, Polaris, which is the polar star, Polaris. Mount Meru. We're going to the North Pole, is traveling up under Polaris, the point of singularity. When it expands, it gives birth to all the stars in the sky. This is why they're giving you this type of shit in Mecca. Expansion from a point of singularity. Expansion from a point of singularity. Now, hold on a minute. So you can compare this to your reality. Expansion from a point of singularity. Expansion from a point of singularity. Polaris is the highest star in the sky. Did you know that? Polaris is the highest star in the sky, and it's at the dead center. What does that tell you? You on a flat earth. Everything beneath this is the 12 zodiac, but it expanded from Polaris. This is expansion. It's like a projecting machine. That movie that you see on the wall expanded comes from a little point. You won't be able to look at that movie if you don't let it expand from a point and show up on the wall. You will see it as a real light full of just moving color. But that's the people, that's the grass, that's the sky. You can't see it because, let me show you something. Is expansion. So what I'm saying is, if you were to try to look at the movie right here at the point, you won't see nothing but a bright light. But that bright light is still the movie. You just can't see it because you ain't let it expand yet. If you can zoom in on right here inside of this little point that's right on the eye of the lens, you can watch the movie. You'll have to zoom real far into it because you didn't let it zoom out. You get what I'm saying? If you try to watch the movie from this part of before you let it expand outward, you're gonna have to zoom in because you didn't let it expand out. Do you get it? Think about it for a minute. You will have to zoom in to see the people because they so small right here. But other than that, you can just let it zoom out. Now you can see it on the wall blowed up. Now the farther back you pull it, the bigger you get it. But guess what? The more light you lose, the dimmer the picture get. So you got to get that sweet spot. And the sweet spot just so happened to be a perfect triangle. Look, y'all. Look, y'all. I'm trying to teach you something. I'm trying to teach you something. It's a perfect triangle. People, you can't even use your movie projecting screen without this knowledge. You don't even think about it though. If I tell you to set up a projecting machine in my house, guess what you're going to do? And I ain't going to even have to tell you. You're going to be pushing and pulling the little tray, trying to get the right image. You're going to want the right square, but you're going to want the right amount of brightness where it ain't too dim because you went back too far. You're going to do that without me telling you. You're going to act like God and you're going to balance this thing until you get a perfect triangle. Now, people don't measure that shit. They just know, okay, I need to keep moving this damn table till I get the picture right. But if they stop a minute and measure the triangle that they just made without even measuring it, it'll be a perfect triangle. Ain't that deep? Because think about this. For you to make a perfect triangle, you normally would need a ruler. But the way I'm showing you now, we do it every day just by trying to get the picture right with the projecting machine. And we make a perfect triangle every time. Want me to tell you how I know? Because you get a perfect picture. Or if the picture ain't perfect, then guess what? This triangle ain't perfect. This triangle determines how good your picture gonna be. And if it's a perfect triangle like this, it's a perfect picture. So this is mathematics, y'all. It's projection. It's expansion. All right, now I want to get back to advanced races. Right now, while I'm showing you all this, is showing you human origins. We didn't come from a group of races that created a lesser race, and they got better bodies than us, and they made us as lesser races. We expanded as a seed from the North Pole. That's what's going on, what they showing you here. Earth is the Virgin Mary. Meaning, everything in creation was seeded from the center as an idea that solidified into a reality as if it always was. Now, that's something people can't grasp. When you dream, you wake up inside of a dream in a whole nother lifestyle, and you know everybody as if you always was there. Same thing with creation. This is the dream of the Most High, so there is no beginning to a dream. Have you ever dreamed that you were being born? Yeah, on your birth date, whenever you was born, you're in a dream. You can't redream your creation. Any human out there in the chat room ever dreamed that they were being born in a hospital? Let us know. That'll be a first. But I will believe you though. It's possible. So look here. Humans weren't made out of dirt. We weren't made out of, like, a lot of religions want to teach you that God picked up some dirt and started molding man. No, it ain't like that. Everything, including the dirt, was created by an idea. Idea is physical material. Thoughts are the basis of all physicality. Everything you perceive as physicality is being held in existence by a thought of the one who originated that thing. Meaning water was, see, think about creation. If nothing existed, we know that's a lie, because before creation existed, creator existed, which is everything, potential, infinite possibility. But what I'm trying to say is this. From that, you have the physical elements. And how do you get the physical elements from darkness? The same way you close your eyes and create something new in darkness in your mind. Someone closed their eyes and thought of a telephone, a computer, or whatever, out of that same darkness that you see behind the stars that our reality is existing in. It's just a thought bubble. When you look at this bubble that we live in, it's the same. Let me show you what this is. Let me show you what this is, man. It's one of these. Our reality is in one of these. See how they got this expansion coming from the point of singularity? Same thing. This expansion coming from a point of singularity, creating a bubble. And that's two words, a bulb L, a bulge L, a bulb like light bulb, and El, which is the God that, hold on, We all over the place, but we gonna get back on track. See how this thing shaped like a light bulb? See how the God is shaped like a light bulb? See how the Bible start off with let there be light? The bulb is the bubble that we live on. We live in a bubble of light. And the bubble is created by the confines of the creator's thought. Where the thought ends is the barrier, the end of the light. We're just an idea. This creation is an idea. We live inside of this little thought box. Just like the projecting machine. I showed you this. The projecting machine. Hold on. Hold up a second. See, symbolism will take you to places everything else can't take you to. Now, don't this look just like the thought box? Look, I use sacred geometry to teach because I find that it works well with the third eye. Now, if I just keep doing this, I ain't got to talk that much. We see why it was spoken into existence, and it's a thought. God don't got a mouth. When God or Goddess thinks it, it's there as if it always was. Meaning that the creator didn't think about giraffes and then start picking up flesh and blood, building a giraffe. Wasn't no flesh and blood yet to build a giraffe. The creator didn't think about water and oceans and said, you know what, let me grab some of this water and make some oceans. Wasn't no water made yet. How did the creator make everything we see from nothing? It was simply thought into existence, y'all. And when it was thought into existence, it was thought into existence the way the creator thunk it. Now stay with me because I'm getting deep. If you ain't paying attention, you're going to miss where I'm finna go right now. When the creator thought this creation into existence, it didn't think about creating the creation. Please think with me, people. This is very advanced. When the creator thought this creation in existence, it did not think about itself creating creation. It simply had a thought about zebras, humans, waterfalls, and there it was. As if it always was. Because that's the way the creator thunk it. The creator didn't think, oh, I got this idea to make a creation. Let me start putting it together. No, no, no. Once the creator had the idea of the creation, the idea existed in a perfected state. When the creator thought about creation, it already thought about it with the waterfalls working and the fish swimming and the people having sets and parties. So it didn't have to create nothing. All it had to do was think it. And when the creator thunk it, the creator did not think itself creating creation. It simply thought of creation, and their creation was in the exact state that the creator thunk it. And the creator didn't think of it in a beginning phase or infant phase. It was simply thought already going as if it always was. You see what I'm saying, folks? Let me get a one in the chat room if I can move on, if you get what I'm saying with that. So we can move on from that then, good. We can get into Lemurians. So again, you see the lady hula hooping. I showed y'all the spiral goddesses. And what I wanted to show you is, here go the spiral goddesses right there, and the spiral in the center of the earth is what they represent. Now I'm gonna take this on off and we're gonna go ahead and move along. So why do we sit on Santa's lap? And remember when I told you Santa replaced the Great Mother, right? We sit on Santa's lap today, but in our spiritual system in prehistoric time, we sat on a Great Mother's lap. I'm gonna repeat that again so y'all can see the esoteric symbolism and the magic that's going on today. I'm gonna repeat what I just said. Now open up your third eye and listen to me. Listen to me. Today we literally go and sit on the laps of men. We let your daughters and your sons sit on some dude lap. Let me show you this, man, so you can get an image. And think about what I'm telling you. You literally go and let your children sit on a lap of some dude today, but that whole tradition was taken from your ancestors and corrupted into pedophilia. Now the true story before it became this deception on the left was what you see on the right. And that little bitty baby that you see is not no damn baby. If you look close, it's a miniature pharaoh. They're using heretic scale, y'all. I just taught you that. You ever paid attention to this? That ain't no baby. That's a little bitty man. That's a little pharaoh. See, during this time, there was still matriarchic practices going on in Kemet. This was telling you how man as a species come from that point of singularity, the Great Mother, or what we call the spiral goddesses, that original thought, womb of creation. So if you look at this, this is corruption on the left, and the oldest form of the children of the earth sitting upon the lap of a deity is right here. That's why I'm showing you this. So if you see the sun and moon going around the goddess, well, where would we be? We would be right on her lap, looking up at the sun and moon as she hula hoop and give us night and day while she hula hoop. And the children of the earth sit upon her lap. And they turned that into this crap. So now we can move on from that. Now we can, and what am I telling you? I'm telling you, look at this. This is her lap right here. This particular section of this goddess would be the lap. Okay, this is a lap. Now, what is a lap? It's a damn circle, right? Ain't a lap a circle if I tell you to go run some laps? I'm giving you etymology with symbolism to show you why this area is called a lap. Because in prehistoric time, the lap of the goddess had laps on it, or spirals, laps, meaning we recreate through this womb. We keep coming into existence, running laps through the womb of our future, of our mothers. Very simple. We're energy that's spiraling in circles through the womb of the woman. In other words, we running laps through her lap because we coming in between her legs and we exist on the plane upon her lap. And the sun and moon is doing circuits above her lap. They're doing laps. Laps are loops, loops, laps. Right? So upon the lap of the garden, we see the loops of life, which became Saturn. Now, let's move on, because that spiral can be seen at the base of the light bulb. Everything we do in technology and science can be synced back to the goddess. So we wouldn't know how to make a light bulb, right, if it weren't for the goddess. Look at here. This light bulb is actually this goddess. And the spiral part right there that you plug into the wall, and this is where the light at. This is the crown chakra. This is technology. Here she go. She's holding her arms up in the middle, creating that light that we call Polaris. I want to give you the science with this too, so you don't just think it's just all about the symbolism. Here go the spiral right here. Where is it? At the lap. It's at the lap of the goddess. So, like I said, we in a light box. We're in a light box, right? So here it is. Same thing. That it's just a light bulb, people. Let me show you something, man. See, when you look at this stuff, you're looking at science too. All right? This is a light bulb. Yes, they had lights in Cambodia, people. So it's so many things that did to didn't they tell you Jesus represent the light? They said, so this is a form of Jesus too. And before Jesus, I can even show you other forms, right? Let's look at some more forms of let there be light. Where did we originate from? The point of singularity, the light, Polaris. At least this is what the ancestors said. And they personified themselves as the light. And that's why they said, let your light shine, because everybody is a light bulb. What you mean, Brother Sanchez? Let me show you something. Everybody is a light bulb. You shining right now on an ethereal plane. Hold up. All right, you see this crown chakra, which is the light, making that little umbrella over your head right there. That's what the ancestors knew. That's what they knew. That's what they knew before they put the arch around Jesus' head. See, they told you it represents the sun, but it really represents the crown chakra. This is the crown chakra, but the Masonic sun worshipers want to throw you off so that you don't connect with yourself. You keep looking up at the damn sun, which was created to serve you. Let me say that again. The Most High created the sun and moon and stars to serve you. You backwards as hell if you worshiping the sun when the Most High created it to give you light, to serve you. Now they got everybody serving the sun in the sky when you need to be serving yourself. This is what the ancestors taught. That ain't no sun around Jesus' head now. That's the crown chakra. Can't nobody argue with that. We're gonna move on. That's the light. And if your crown ain't shining, you ain't enlightening being. I mean, it's called enlightening, right? If you ain't enlightening, then shit, you ain't shining. I just hate to tell you. Now, what we all are light bulbs, and some of us shining brighter than others. Some people stand in the presence of others, and it's like they're not there because the personality of the person they in is so enlightening. And that's how you want to think about. Jay-Z said, you're a candle in the sun. That shit don't even out. See, you don't want to be, you want to shine, man. Everybody is a light bulb. Your degree of luminosity depending on your crown chakra, your level of wisdom. Here we are, all light bulbs. You can see these are called ancient toadstool mushrooms or Mayan mushroom stones. They're all around the world, symbolizing the crown chakra. And they took this and corrupted it, and it became the god Annunaki or Anu. This is the god Anubis right here. They put a cup on his head, and when they changed it to this god, they stopped teaching you about your crown chakra, and they start telling you that you can only get enlightenment by drinking from his cup. So when they came with this god, which was what we call an Anu, and his disciples were the Naki, Today we call him Jesus, which was Serapis. That cup on his head is the crown chakra. But during the time when they replaced that crown chakra, the umbrella figurines with this god, they stopped teaching about you and they started just giving him all the fucking worship and glory. So everybody that worship him, they don't know nothing about their chakra system. Man, when I was in the church, they didn't teach about chakras. They said we get our light from Jesus, drinking from his cup because it runneth over. And that's why they say that, because he took the God force out of us and made us stop connecting with ourselves. And now we think in order to get enlightenment, we got to go through Jesus. We got to go through the Annunaki. We got to go through the Lemurians. We got to go through the Atlanteans. We got to go through the Hyperboreans. You got to gain access through the Pleiadians. They gave you all of these gate guards when nothing is in between you and the source. And that's what I'm here today, to show you our true origins versus the middlemen. There are no advanced races, but there are advanced forms of yourself that you can tap into right now. So there are no sky daddies for us. And you can't receive enlightenment by studying Atlanteans, Lemurians, and all of that. You can only receive enlightenment by studying the self. I became enlightened when I went inside. That's why it's called enlightenment, not outlightenment, niggas. Doggone it. Hold on a minute. Some of y'all with that outlightenment shit. I like enlightenment. You know, that come from within. Not from Hyperboreans, not from goddamn Atlanteans. Enlightenment, man. Not outlightenment. So we don't have to access knowledge through this God and through his cup that runneth over. When we realize we literally have a crown chakra connecting us to the luminaries, we start to be open-minded, listen to the voice within, and our intuition will direct our steps and help us fulfill our spirit's destiny while you was born. Other than that, you're going to be having your head inside of some Bible, some Quran, trying to carry out the will of some God, and you'll keep reincarnating because the soul came to carry out its will. And you got distracted by carrying out this dude's will, Allah's will, Buddha's will. What about your will and why you was born? Your soul gonna keep coming back to do what it tried to do. So this is why they said Saturn will create a matrix for you and keep you reincarnating. Yeah, if you don't realize the truth behind that God and how he replaced the great mother. Once you get back in tune with your ancient spirituality, you break the curses of Saturn. You realize he was hiding the spiral of life. The universe just responding to you. If you got a fear-based spirituality, that's what'll keep you reincarnating. Because the universe perceives fear as an unlearned lesson. But when you first start driving, you scared. You keep on hitting the brakes and shit. And your mama have to tell you, relax, just calm down. Nothing to be scared of. You know, but once you learn how to drive, you punching the gas, you ain't scared no more. Same shit. Fear is unlearned lesson to the universe. So you reincarnate. That's why all of these schools of thought have to be founded upon fear or putting a greater being greater than you. Maybe Lemurians or Hyperboreans, something more advanced than you. And all of that is evolution. Earlier, I asked a question. I said, why do globalists and flat earth believe in advanced races? If we evolved from advanced races, we still evolved. Here's the thing. When you were indoctrinated, You were mad at the fact that the evolution is lied to you. You were mad because they told you you evolved from a primitive race. They told you you evolved from monkey people. That made you mad. So you know what the smart evolutionists did? They said, well, how do we keep them believing in evolution theory? What really ticks them off about evolution? And they said, well, it's the monkey theory that ticks them off. Whether we have another theory that they actually evolved from advanced races. Listen to me, people. They don't care if you think you evolved from monkeys. They don't care if you think you evolved from advanced races. Long as you think you evolved, they're winning. Put a 1 in the chat room if you understand the importance of what I just said. You still are a believer of evolution. It don't matter if you say, well, I don't believe we evolved from monkeys. We evolved from Lemurians. Well, let me show you what a goddamn Lemurian is. I'm going to show you what an Atlantean is. You don't want to be from monkeys. So guess what? They'll let you be from fish then. What you got to realize is all evolution, and the human species didn't come from animals, y'all. We didn't evolve, period. So they tricking y'all. They tricking you to still believe in evolution. Because you say, well, we ain't evolved from monkeys. Well, they say, okay, no problem then. You evolved from fish people called Atlanteans or dolphin people. That's what they did. Here, this is what they did to you. Here you go. Here go your Nomos, or another form of the Atlantean race. The fish people, serpent people. Now, I already told you who the serpent people are. They're the Naginis. This is just personification. There wasn't no serpent people. They had zoo types like football team. See, what? Let me show you how stupid we are today. What we do today would be the equivalent of somebody in the future looking at NFL football teams literally. Like, for example, when you say the Carolina Panthers, stupid people in the future gonna be like, people in Carolina was half Panther. When you say the Miami Dolphins, stupid people in the future gonna be like, in Florida, their ancestors was mixed with dolphin. This is called zootypes, y'all. Personification. Zootypes. Not to be taken literally. We did not come from animal people. Our ancestors had zootypes. That's where the fucking NFL and NBA get the shit from. Lord have mercy. Y'all get what I'm saying? It not to be taken literally. They were the serpent people because the sine wave was personified as the serpent. This right here. And the people who were masters of this sine wave were called serpent people. That was their fucking industry. They was electricity people, energy people, power people. They dealt with electromagnetism, energy. In the ancient day, they didn't call them electricians. They call them Naginis. If you dealt with electricity, you was a serpent person. In other words, back in the day, the workforce was divided up in zootypes, like how the NFL is. And whatever, if you work with the farming and the agriculture, maybe you were a deer person. Maybe the animal associated with agriculture was deers, right, and rabbits. And everybody who did farming That was the deer tribe, deer squad, rabbit squad. We do this in the military, y'all. We separate the flights by zoo types. When I was in the Air Force, ours was dogs. We was the junkyard dogs. People, this is ancient shit. They separated their workforce into zoo types, and since they was connected with nature, the zoo types was connected with animals. They did everything connecting with animals. That's why the zodiac got the word zoo in it, because the damn zodiac ain't nothing but a big zoo full of animals, Scorpios, and got doggone bulls and different animals, and your zodiac or your zodiac is a zoo. Your NFL is a zoo with different animals going against each other, like the zodiac. So back in the day, just like in a forest ecosystem, right? Hold on. Back in the day, just like in a forest ecosystem, you got different animals making the ecosystem working together. Different zoo types. Each animal, right, is a zodiac symbol working together in that ecosystem to make it work. And if you take one away, the ecosystem will die. That's just like our zodiac in the sky is perfect. If you take one away, it won't be 360 no more. It'll die. It can't balance itself. So the stars above your head, or the zodiac, you can look at it like an ecosystem, a bunch of animals working together to create balance, to create one system. That's what the zodiac or the zodiac is. So in ancient days, we had our workforce divided up the same way. Different animals represent different industrial fields. Maybe you were a metalsmith and we said you was the jaguar tribe, you know. Maybe you specialize in plants and botany, and we said that you were the butterfly tribe or some shit like that. But it wasn't to be taken literally. You didn't have fish people. You didn't have this is not to be taken literally. Now, this is a corruption of ancient science. Prehistoric time, we used zoo types to separate industries. Today, they use zoo types in religion for other purposes. Now, the fish zoo type always represent magnetism. Let me show you. I don't know what all the zoo types represent, but I can give you a few. In particular, we're going to do the fish because that's the Annunaki or fish people. Hold on. Let me find what I'm looking for. Here you go. Now this, again, we already know this is an electromagnetic energy field. I ain't gonna go over this again. We know this is what the earth is. And what's creating our reality is this fish in the middle. This fish has two tails, as you can see. It became the yin yang symbol, a circle with the two fishes. Or you can look at those two fishes right here. You got one fish with a red body, one fish with a green body. Each one got its one swimming up, one swimming down. This the tail of one fish, this the tail of a fish. Now, what they did, they started to, let me show you something. They started to personify those two fishes as just one fish with two tails. Hold on. Now, if you look at the top of this collage, all of what you see in this collage are different depictions of the Earth cosmos. We're inside of this bubble, this electromagnetic energy field. But that little fish man you see at the top was the first form of Jesus. You know, we got a Jesus fish, right? Why do we have a Jesus fish? Why is Jesus associated with a fish? It's the all-seeing eye. Don't it look like an eyeball? This is Saturn. Now, if you look in the middle of the cosmos, you will see that fish. And that's why I kept showing you. Hold on, wait for it. Let me get my slides together. See, the fish that's in the middle of the earth was personified as a genie, a rock, so many things. And I showed you Jesus a minute ago, the fish in the middle of it all. I'll show you again. In the middle of our earth, that's why Jesus is a fish. Because if you look at this biofield from this view, it does look like a fish. And Jesus just represents Mount Calvary, that center point of the earth. Now, I'm being redundant, but this is the Annunaki. I'm showing you why the Annunaki are fish people. That's what I'm doing. Here are the Annunaki. This is a form of the Annunaki. Why is this a fish person? Because these blasphemous popes and pastors started to personify themselves as Mother Nature. Ain't that blasphemous? They start personifying themselves as the fish at the middle of the earth, that which is creating energy for the children of the earth. You think these men is giving us power and energy? You got to be a fool. Mother Nature is. But this is just how blasphemous, how disrespectful they are. They rather them get the credit than you know the truth and Mother Nature get it. Let me go off camera for just a little bit and I'll come back on. But I'm going to keep on teaching though. All of this mermaid talking fish people, I'm showing you where it come from. I'm giving you the real science, yo. They tell you that the Atlanteans, the Lemurians, were fish people who come from the North Pole. Now, who make most sense, me or them? The people that's saying it was some damn mermaids who gave birth to us at the North Pole, or me? I'm saying that it wasn't no mermaids, that the ancestors was personifying these fish people as energy. These fish people weren't literally fish people that come from the North Pole. The North Pole was personified as a mermaid, as a fish, because it looked like a fish. This is the North Pole. It was personified as a fish lady or a mermaid. Why? Because the ancestors said this hole is a great womb that gave birth to creation. So they said that it's female. They said that this hole right here is a womb, it's female. And they also said it looked like a fish. So this gave birth to all kind of mermaid mythologies. But we forgot that these mermaids were women who represent human origins. Let me show you one right now. Goddess Nuwa is one of the oldest ones, so I'm going to use her. Now, why do we say Annunaki? For the same reason you say God is new or God is Nut. The word new is there because she makes all things new. She's a serpent lady or a mermaid. Her name is Nu. She became Annunaki or Anna. And in ancient China, they taught how the mermaid Nuwa gave birth to not only humans, but to the cosmos. So you can see her here, and they got a hood on her head like a cobra snake. She the serpent goddess. When they don't want to make her a full-fledged, see, she got different depictions. Sometimes they depict her as a full-fledged serpent, but sometimes in a little milder form, they just put a hood on her head, but they know she's still the serpent goddess. See, the serpent goddess. This hood is why she's the serpent goddess. You see? So we didn't come from no serpent people at the North Pole. It wasn't no snake people and fish people at the North Pole. This goddess represents this energy field vortex. The ancestors just personified it. They personified this North Pole as new water. In other words, let me show you something. This is where all the water, all the air, all the elements on Earth get recycled. Now, water is one of the life-giving things on Earth. I don't got to talk about that. We know we need water. The ancestors was thankful for all that stuff. They was thankful for the water. But what they was thankful for was how the water cleansed itself. They knew when they looked at a river, that river was flowing to the North Pole, that it ultimately led, all oceans lead to this North Pole. We're not able to travel to the North Pole today, but if we were, we would see a huge drain where all of the elements on the periodic table break down and get renewed. This is what's renewing the elements for the earth. We forgot that knowledge today. Now we got global warming and all kind of deception. So when the ancestors looked at the North Pole, they said that's what renews the water. When they got thirsty and they took a sip of that water from that running river, they said, they knew every scoop that they scooped up was new water. This is the beauty of running, flowing of energy. If you go to a flowing river and you scoop up a cup of water, it's gonna be a lot of microorganisms in that water, and each cup you scoop up gonna be a different set of microorganisms. It's that diverse. And since it's running, each stream is a different world. Like if each time you scoop up a cup of water, it's a different world in that cup. It's constantly renewing itself. It's like a highway, and it all leads to the North Pole. So when the ancestors drank out of a river, they knew that that new fresh water that they was drawing into their cup was cleansed by the North Pole, that it had took its journey through there. So they was not only giving reverence for the water, but for where the water came from and where it was going to renew itself. They knew when they dirty up the water that the earth would just wash it again through the North Pole, and they were thankful for that. So when they looked at the North Pole, it was synonymous with new water. The North Pole was synonymous with new water. So this little fish in the middle was called New Wa, which is another way of saying new water. She renews the water. You see, this is Nuwa creating man by snapping her fingers. She renews the elements and renews all of the water that we drink. So another name of this deity was Nuwa. And when you was a baby, that's how you pronounce water, Wawa. Am I lying? I know it sounds crazy, but everybody mama did that. They said, they didn't say bottle, they said the baba. You want water, that's Wawa. That's ancient shit. You know, Wa is water. So when you say new Wa, you're saying new water, because that electromagnetic energy field is also depicted as water in a lot of cosmologies. For example, Hebrew cosmos has it as water, and they have the water renewing through this hole, which would be that fish again. That fish, she constantly rebirths the water and rebirths it and rebirths it or recycles it, you know, from this point. So this point is also called new water. Why? Because simple. New water comes from this cleansing point. Very simple. Ancestors were simple. They were simple, man. You know, when they was on their boats and they saw land, they said, hey, it is land. And that became the word island or island. All of the words we use come from very simple concepts, man. New wa is new water. I'm just showing you the simplicity of the ancestors. Just like I did with the word island. You know, you on your boat, you don't see nothing but water. Next thing you know, on the horizon, you see this land. Everybody jump up, they shout, it is land, it's land, it's land, it's land, it's land, it's land, it's land became island, island, it's land, island. I found the rock in the water, it's land, island, it's land. I'm doing that to show you etymology and how I decipher words. I travel into the minds of the people who use the words to see how they would have used them during that time. So I have a very intricate way of deciphering words and symbols and stuff. And with that being said, I'm going to take one more quick break if I can, and we're going to go ahead and hop right into Lemurians, and we're going to keep working our way through the 4 races that's in the title. Thanks for being patient. This is another lit episode of Monday Mystery School.
I'm thinking of how best can I do this? I mean, how can I do it?
All right, and we are back. Be with you in a minute. Okay, so what we're looking at now is a pine cone at the Vatican, right? We've been seeing this image for a while. We know it represents the pineal gland, something that they cursed in our generation because they don't want us unlocking the secrets of self. The pineal gland is synonymous with the crown chakra. And remember, I told you when they created the god Serapis, nobody was able to unlock the secrets of self. We were told to unlock the secrets of Jesus in order to make it to where we want to go. In fact, they told you don't even worry about your mind, don't even lean into your own understanding. And they told our ancestors, Jesus' cup floweth over, and if you drink from his cup, you'll be good. Now, his cup is the crown chakra of the first pharaoh. The peasantry system, you talk about how did rich people get rich in those days before money, because when religion ruled, belief was currency. If you didn't believe in yourself, chances are you were a peasant believing in somebody else that they would promote you, give you a better status, a better living condition. And that's what we are in today. People that don't believe in themselves, they believe in politicians, presidents, reparations, gods. They believe in so much stuff. But if they only believed in themselves, they would see anything else outside of that was a distraction, that the universe sent you here with everything you need in you to free yourself. And if everyone went within, that'll be the solution. But everyone today have their beliefs and everything outside of them, because the knowledge of self have been cursed. As you can see here, is called a mark of the beast. And that's because this knowledge ended up in the wrong hands. Now, this is a pine cone, like I said, representing the pineal gland. Now, here's an interpretation of one of the Annunaki. Here is the god Anu. What is he holding in his hand? Why is he holding that in his hand? That pine cone represent the collective consciousness of humanity, and whoever controls that is God during that time. So they're not going to have a billion pine cones in his hand, but when they say he got the whole world in his hand, he got the whole world. He controlling the collective this is the God of the New World Order. In our day, they give you this. A lot of you are familiar with this. But when you look at this, it's a modern depiction of this. See, the God I knew is holding the cosmos in his hand, and the cosmos or collective consciousness is in the form of a pine cone. Today, they just give you this. This is the God that controls today's consciousness. This is the God right here that controls the collective consciousness of the earth today. And he do it in many, many forms. So right now we doing Annunaki, and like I said, we can move on now. We get it. We see the bent arm, which is the bent scepter of the Pope, right? Dagon is Dagon worship. We went over that right here. That's why I don't do the Anunnaki talk. It's corruption, indoctrination. All right, let's move on. Lemuria. So, real quick, Lemuria is a hypothetical lost land located either in the Indian or the Pacific Ocean, as postulated by a now discredited 19th century scientific theory. These are theories, hypotheses. Why would you get caught up into it? You just left the globe. Don't you want facts? Ain't y'all tired of theories and interpretations, hypotheses, mythology? Ain't y'all tired of that shit? You come to flat earth to go right back into this shit. I'm trying to get you away from this, because the more you get into Lemuria, Atlantean, the further away you get from yourself. Further away you get from yourself. All of these advanced races is the potential of what you can be. Once you unlock the secrets of the Nagini or fish person, get into what Tesla got into, start seeing how electromagnetism was our original spirituality, you empower yourself. Everybody expressed that in their own unique way, like Tesla did. So Lemuria, the idea of Lemuria was then adopted by the occultists of the time and consequently has been incorporated into popular culture. So everybody that you see on flat earth that's pushing this Lemurian, Atlantean stuff, You also see them on big time news outlets. I'm not going to start naming names and being messy, but y'all know what I'm talking about. The people that's pushing Lemuria and Atlantean, they on ABC News, they on big time UK channels, millions of views. They on other big YouTube channels collaborating. And why am I saying big YouTube channels? Because it's the popular culture that's pushing this. People like Infinite Waters. And I ain't gonna start naming the popular flat earthers that's pushing Hyperborea and all that. Y'all can do it yourself. You know what I'm talking about. This is corruption. This is modern corruption. That's why it's pop culture. And they're gonna adopt, these occultists gonna adopt the popular idea because they seeded it. Anything that's in a collective consciousness that's popular, like I told you, when I was in the black conscious community, we believed in Atlanteans and Hyperboreans with the globe. Why would I come to flat earth and still be founding my origins on some damn mythologies? Fish people, serpent people. This showing you right here, this is an occult idea. Why? Because it hides the motherfucking truth. See, let me show you what a Lemurian is. It's a fairy tale. It's a fairy tale. Look, it ain't no different than the globe earth. Now you a damn hypocrite, you flat earth motherfucking advanced race believers. Y'all some damn hypocrites. Y'all say I ain't fucking with the globe because look at all these fake images. What a real picture of Earth. Motherfucker, what a real picture of the Lemurians at? They ain't got no carvings left behind. Where they are carvings at? They ancient city. It don't exist. These fish people were personifications of electromagnetism. This right here ain't nothing but the yin yang symbol. Two fishes making love, polar opposites. There go your Lemuria. People don't want the truth because the truth boring. They want to really believe it was some fish people making love at the North Pole and they gave birth to us like a fool. Tired of the stupidity. You want to believe this shit literally. And I'm showing you it ain't nothing but the yin yang. It's energy. Corruption. Indoctrination. More myths. So here go your Lemuria, right? And you know we're gonna talk about Plato's Atlantis, right? So here go the land of Lemuria. Does it look familiar? Don't it look familiar? Let me show you something. Lemuria ain't nothing but Asgard. See? Ain't no advanced races, y'all. Ain't no advanced races. Our ancestors weren't more advanced than us. They were more connected with nature than us. They were more natural than us. They understood the secrets of how energy was created by the earth because they was in tune with the earth. It ain't that they were advanced races. They were more connected with the world around them than you are. So in that sense, yeah, they were advanced races, but they weren't literally fish people and all that crazy stuff. You can be what they were once you tap into their spirituality. So there go your Lemuria. We all talking about the North Pole, of course, but I'm telling you that it wasn't literal fish people. That's my purpose of today. Debunking the spookism. People, fish people are not real. This comes from the serpent goddess and the fish goddesses that represent the hyperboloid at the North Pole. It's called a hyperboloid That's where you get the word Hyperborea. Now I'm gonna give y'all a bonus before we move forward to the Atlanteans. We're gonna do Hyperboreans for 10 minutes right quick, just as a bonus. Pull up Hyperborean or Hyperborea. In Greek mythology, the Hyperboreans were a race of giants who lived beyond the north wind. Now, what is the north wind? The north wind is this pole right here. You see how this wind is going in? It's a magnetic wind. So when you say the north wind, what's confusing you is the word wind. Let's pronounce it as wind, like rewind. What happens when you rewind something? It looks like this, right? It gets recycled or rewinded, resurrected. More breath is blown into your lungs. The word wind is the word winding, because every time you inhale, that's what stimulates your circulation. When you stop inhaling, the wind, the blood stop winding through the body or winding through the body. In other words, when you inhale, the air outside is circulating. As above, so below. If you don't inhale that circulation outside, you won't have a circulation inside. So the stuff that's circulating through your veins is what you're inhaling through your nose. It's called wind, ethereal wind, or plasma. So blood is wind or wine, and it winds through the body like wind winds through the earth. A winding motion, like a fishing rod. When you wind it up, you're retrieving something to throw it out again. That's called recycling. This thing is retrieving energy so it can throw it back out again, and it winds it back up again and throw it back. This is fishing, y'all. That's why it's a fish. That's why Jesus was a fisherman. All of the symbolism I'm giving you can be synced to fishing. Even the net, you see the net with the fish caught up in it in the middle? The net with the fish in it. Okay. So if I teach you how to fish, is better than giving you one. Religion is giving them a fish every Sunday. Ain't gonna teach them. All right. I'm giving y'all the fish. I'm teaching you how to fish now. Not just giving you a scripture, giving you a God, giving you a fish. When they give you a fish, they give you a God, because the God is a fish. That's why I keep bringing up these fish gods, man, with the fish hats on. Jesus is a fish. They giving you a fish. They ain't teaching you how to fish. They giving you a God. They ain't showing you how to be God. Put a 1 in the chat room if y'all see how powerful how I just synced that up. Put the 1 out there if that resonate with you, and we can move on. All right, so cool. We get deep into the symbolism. So I say I'm gonna give you Hyperborea as a bonus. Let's look at it. So why was the Hyperboreans a race of giants? At this point, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna get in the chat room. I'm gonna see who was paying attention. My question to the chat room and to the person that answered this question, we're gonna have to do something for you. We'll think of what kind of prize you're gonna get, but we're gonna do something for you, whoever get this right. The question is, why were the Hyperboreans giants? I just taught it to you. It's 2 words. Shout out to KDM. She the first one got it. Heretic scale. There you go. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna probably send you a bracelet or something. And to all of my Patreons, the USPS been giving me my crystals back. I don't know why they. It ain't no damn. I'm just melting rocks. They act like it's real dope, like it's real cocaine. And they've been selling me these crystals back. People been saying I ain't get my crystals, and I've been going to my PO box and see that they've been returned. Now I got enough postage on there. but I don't know why they hating on me. So to my people needing crystals, I'm getting that sorted out with the USPS. KDM, email me anyway right now if you can. Talk to brosanchez@gmail.com and give me your mailing address. I'm gonna send you that bracelet because I like when y'all pay attention. That's why the Hyperboreans were giants. Heretic scale. Not that they were real giants, but heretic scale, okay? Not to say giants didn't exist. We don't have no proof of giants other than Shaquille O'Neal and just large humans. We're talking about giants. People, when they walked, it felt like a little earthquake. If you look at the scale of the humans in that heretic scale art, if that was normalized, that person would be fucking huge. That would be way bigger than Shaq. If you look at how they got that pharaoh and all of that art, he will make Shaquille O'Neal look like a damn ant. So when people say giants are real, they in the NFL and NBA, well, you might be right. I'm not going to argue with that. I agree with that. But we talking about a different kind of giant. We talking about them big old motherfuckers. They make the NBA players look small. When you go to Egypt and look at how they depicted the pharaoh, if motherfucking Shaq go to Egypt, he's gonna be small compared to that pharaoh statue. Did you know that? Let me show you something. Heretic scale is important. It's very important. Heretic scale is very important. Because if you don't know it, you're going to be a dummy walking around here talking about giants. These were some huge ass statues, buddy. Don't let this damn picture fool you. I wish they had humans next to it. The damn humans stand up right here to the base. Listen, man, this is a mountain. I wish I can find a picture with human. Here you go. Look. Look at this dude. Look at how huge. Now, this is a small statue. This ain't even the biggest one. This man, when he stand up, he ain't even at the feet of the motherfucking pharaoh. And y'all want to tell me Shaquille O'Neal and all of them are the giants. No, man, no. Shaquille O'Neal would be an ant. If this thing was to get up and start walking, it wouldn't, man, this thing would trump Shaquille O'Neal. Citizen man, you trying to get my attention? I just looked at the chat and I think you said you trying to get my attention. Go ahead and turn my name orange real quick. At me, citizen man, while I'm looking at the chat. And tell me what you want to tell me while I'm looking at the chat. And then I'm going to go back to the teachings. Go ahead and tell me. Talk to me, citizen man, my boy. You know, if you're trying to get my attention, you got it, brother. I'm trying to peep at the chat. I'll do some Q&A after this. Citizen, what's good? You wanted my attention, my brother? I ain't trying to ignore you. Talk to me so I can get back to the lecture. I'll be looking at the chat, citizen man. And just at me, turn me orange, and I'll see what you're trying to say. So the people can get my point. I'm debunking all of these races one by one. And we just left off with Hyperborean. The sisters told us why they were giants. That was heretic scale. And I'm showing you that the giants that they spoke of in heretic scale would have trumped anybody in the NFL or NBA. So we got to get rid of that dumb stuff because all that does is perpetuate the myth of giants. Well, look at Shaquille O'Neal. These statues is way bigger than Shaquille O'Neal. In fact, Shaq head probably would be right here at the ankles. I give him that. Shaq Shaq probably about a couple feet taller than this dude. So if Shaq was standing right here, Shaq head probably be right here at the feet. Now you make your comparison. If they got to fight, who would win? Not Shaq. So these people were talking about real giants. I mean, the people are the dumbasses who misinterpreted heretic scale. And I'm sorry for calling you dumbasses because I'm calling myself a dumbass too. I once fell for that too before I knew about heretic scale. I was a dumbass. You know. So we got that out the way. Ain't no need to keep going over that. So Hyperborea, okay, now we at Atlantis. Okay? Now Atlantis, first of all, we want keep in mind so far everything I'm reading to you, they call it hypothetical, mythological, and fictional. Let's start with Atlantis now. And whether we read that Atlantis is what? A fictional island. A what? A fictional island. Mentioned with an allegory on the hubris of nations in Plato's works. Plato was not a real person. He's a pseudonym that ancient historians forged their mythology into world history under. In other words, let me show you something. Plato is a plagiarist, and I'm going to show you that now. Here you go. You got Plato's Atlantis, and in the top right corner, you got the Hebrew cosmos. Then you got my conception of Saturn, Earth with the rainbow, same concept. We live in an onion. And you got the Dogon cosmos in the form of an altar. By the way, Dogon altars all resemble the cosmos. Excuse me. I'm going to say that again. Dogon altars always resemble the cosmos. Y'all don't get it yet? You still don't get it? One more time. Dogon altars always resemble the cosmos. What is the cosmos? It's an altar. It alters energy constantly by renewing it. It's an alternating current. What do we go to the altar to do? To renew ourselves, to cleanse our aura, to renew our energy, or to alter our energy to a better state. I'm just teaching you to open your eyes. It's so much in simple words. So the Dogon altar resembles the cosmos. As above, so below. It acts as a microcosmic form of what the cosmos is doing to your spirit. Okay? Your spirit came here to have its energy altered, to have a new experience, so when it leave a body, it can do some new shit. You got to go to a new classroom to get a new level of understanding. You can't stay in second grade all day. Your spirit came here to have its energy altered. It wanted to become something new, something better. So it had to come into this classroom, put on the body, and have an experience. The earth is an altar. So the Dogon builds small altars that look just like the earth. Now compare that Dogon altar to all the other stuff in the image. You got the step pyramid, which was their form of the Plato's Atlantis or the cosmos, seven heavens. And a simple ripple effect in the bottom right to show you that this can be synced to nature. A simple rip. This is natural. Every thought creates a ripple effect. So why wouldn't creation be the same? It's a ripple effect. Now, that other mountain is just a creative way of drawing Mount Meru. Good art, right? All right, got that out the way. Why was Plato a plagiarist? He didn't tell you that he was depicting the earth. He told you he was depicting some lost island called Atlantis. And that was part of indoctrinating people in the UK and all of that who's still under the Neptunian style cosmologies. We'll get into that later. How each of these depictions was intended from different people. And the God in the middle of each of these different depictions was a different God that's being worshipped today. For example, if I show you the Middle Eastern conception of the cosmos, you will see how the black cube and Allah came to be from the goddess Alat. Same thing with Christianity, with Jesus on the cross personifying the North Pole. Allah is the black box with all the people around him. Same thing, each god is synced to a cosmology that indoctrinated that people in that region. And this is how the New World Order was created. So everybody worshiped the same God under different cosmological systems and different tongues. And they told you that with the Tower of Babel. So what was the Tower of Babel? The Tower of Babel was the ancient Christian conception of Atlantis. Brother Sanchez, you reaching now. No, I'm not. I can show and prove what I say because I got some other people ain't got. It's called sacred geometry. Let me show ya. Not like I said. Not like I motherfucking said. The Tower of Babel is the ancient conception of Earth. When they knocked it down, it was their way of telling you in mythology, we going from flat Earth to globe Earth. We're no longer seeing the Earth as a tower. We're seeing it as a ball. So knocking down the Tower of Babel into a bunch of little bitty balls became the solar system. Y'all don't hear me. I don't think y'all hear me today. You don't hear me today. Let me show you something, people. If you take this solar system and you pinch the sun and pull it up, let me show you something. Because you don't know how to see, so I got to teach you how to see. Give me a cloth. I need a cloth. I'm going to use my shirt, right? We're going to lay this shirt out flat, and that means it's the solar system. Now, in the middle of this shirt is the sun, right here. Now, compare this shirt to the solar system over here. Now, where my hand at is the sun. What would happen if I pinch the sun and I pick it up? Guess what you will get? This is what you will get. The Tower of Babel. People, this shirt is a pyramid. When they knocked it over, they spread it out into a solar system. And the different levels of the tower became a piece or a ball, a planet, but it's still in the ring shape of the tower. You get it? They knocked the tower down and they flattened it out. If I take that step pyramid and smush it, it's gonna look like the solar system. Let me get a 1 in the chat room if you get what I'm telling you right now, and I can move on. Cool, let's move on. So Plato was a damn plagiarist. And his conception of Atlantis was not his at all. It was the ancient conception of our entire cosmos, not some silly ass island that got people thinking about we come from Atlanteans and Lemurians. That is not what the Dogon teach. So, hold on. We still on Atlantis. Let's blow this back up and let's tell you why Plato was a damn plagiarist. First of all, Plato's Atlantis ain't nothing but another way of saying Jesus is Calvary. You get it? People started looking at Calvary and Jesus mythology, and it took away from the fact that Calvary is actually Mount Meru, And the two thieves around Jesus is the sun and moon, because Jesus represents the North Pole. We lost all of that real knowledge about flat earth once we took the literature literally. And we said, hey man, that was a literal man on a cross that died and came back alive. No, the dying and coming back alive is because it's energy being renewed. Jesus represents energy being recycled at the center of the earth on Mount Meru or Mount Calvary. So he died and come again, like everything you see in this image. All the energy is dying, getting dirty, and it gets renewed again, just like Jesus. So Plato's Atlantis is Jesus' Calvary. What else do Plato got in common with Jesus? What else do Plato have in common with Jesus? Neither one of them have a last name, because these are plagiarized pseudonyms. This presentation is for real investigators. It's for critical thinkers. It ain't for the damn slow. I'm sorry, it's not for slow people. This is for Sherlock Holmes type motherfuckers. So Plato and Jesus didn't have a last name. Guess who else didn't have a last name? Aristotle. Guess who else didn't have a last name? Galileo. Guess who else didn't have a last motherfucking name? Nostradamus. Why all of your astronomers ain't got last names during medieval times? See, Brother Sanchez is an investigator. And people, this is why people don't debate me. My research is so fucking thorough. Now, where am I going with this? I just named you over 5 different medieval astronomers and none of them got last names. Why is that important? It shows you that during medieval times, the Vatican was plagiarizing ancient cosmology, and they didn't want you to know who was doing it, so they wrote it under pseudonyms. People, it's time to wake up. If they would have gave you a real last name, we would be able to trace that last name back to the people. If they would have gave you a real person instead of Plato, Aristotle, and gave you a real name, we would be able to find a family of that person who corrupted all of this cosmology and beat their ass. You know, I'm just playing. We don't want no strikes or nothing. He's threatening the royal families. So you need to think about that. All of your astronomers and people who was giving conceptions of the cosmos during medieval time, it was given under pseudonyms. That shows you that theft was taking place, goddammit. Now I need you to open your mind and think now. I need critical thinkers. I'ma really need you to think with me. That's what it tells us. How many investigators I got out there? Put a 1 in the chat room if you got your thinking cap on and you with me. You with me every step. I ain't lost you yet. You right on top of the lecture. See, we learning over here. Ain't no mysteries over here. Because Monday Mystery School is about taking it out of mystery and bringing it into revelation. Ain't going to be no mysteries. We solving the mysteries. We understand why it was happening under pseudonyms, because theft was taking place. Plain and simple. So now we're going to move on now. So now we got some people that's with me today. We can go fast. We can move through this thing. All right. So here's a depiction of an Atlantean. Before we move on, because we got to go to the Aryan race. And what I want to point out is, what are the Atlanteans personifying with that trident? Here you go right here. This is why you see the Atlanteans with tridents. This is Jesus' cross, and this sacred mountain is what they call Calvary. Jesus is the middle pole, and the two arms are the two thieves. And remember the Holy Ghost dove landing on the cross? Here it is, the sacred bird. Christians ain't nothing but plagiarists. They ain't nothing but thieves. All they do is plagiarize shit. People ain't nothing original about these folks. Ain't nothing original about them. Now, let's move on. Because when you get up into this Atlantean crap, you ain't doing nothing but worshiping the god Neptune. I've been trying to tell y'all to wake the hell up. When are you going to wake up and start worshiping this Dagon god? This is a modern form of Dagon. And you talking about, I come from the Atlanteans. Oh, so you come from the world's first ruler. You a slave. You come from the Pope. You come from Dagon, which is the devil. When you say you come from Atlanteans, that's what you saying. Look at here. Here he go right here. They traded in a trident for a cross, which is three-pointed. The three visible points of the cross is the Jesus and the two thieves. That's a three-point trinity. The cross is the trident. This is the cross. That's why I showed you that Mayan cosmos with it in the middle. It's a trident, but it's a cross. And Jesus with the cross right here, another form of him is Neptune. So for you people that like Atlanteans, you ain't doing that, but you worshiping Jesus again. Anytime you glorify some mythological creature outside of yourself, you got a god and you're not a god. Somebody giving you a fish, not teaching you how to be a fish, how to swim. You are a god. Why are you worshiping a god? Anytime you start getting into glorifying these advanced races, it's deception. It's to trick you to worship Jesus again. And I'm showing y'all that. That's why I don't deal with this stuff. It take the God power out of you. And now you talking about Hyperboreans and fish people and shit. That's the same thing the Christians doing. They look in the mirror and they feel defeated. And they only feel victorious by talking about this fish god named Jesus. When they don't feel the power in themselves. These Christians look in the mirror and the only thing make them happy is Christ. They think Christ in them. If you take Christ away, they gonna feel like they incomplete. When really you gonna be complete because you got yourself. You complete you. And the God is what's making you incomplete. You take away Atlanteans and Hyperboreans for some of these deep people, and they don't have nothing else to talk about. They idolize mythological beings because they can't find that same greatness within themselves. Once you believe in yourself, how you believe in Hyperboreans, Jesus, and Allah, you will unlock the God power in yourself. You'll be able to enlighten people like Jesus doing, instead of just pointing them to fictional creatures and mythological beings. That's going to keep them in a warp of reincarnation, because they're going to start learning about Atlanteans, Lemurians. They ain't going to start learning about they self, they chakra system, how all of that tie into them and electromagnetism. They think it's some advanced race that's going to help them, just like the Christians think it's some advanced God that's going to help them. The Muslims think it's some advanced God named Allah that's going to complete them. The only thing going to complete you is the truth, the knowledge of nature, what I'm giving you now. You take away these advanced gods from these people, they don't know what to do. because they don't see themselves as being on that level without the aid of an imaginary friend, which is a form of psychosis. That right there that's crazy. So you look at an image of God that's given to you by a man. When the image of God can be seen every time you get up in the morning and wash your face, you look in the mirror, you're looking at an image of God. You were imagined by God and then conceived. You're a direct thought of the source. You're an image of God. Just like that giraffe was something that the God imagined and it came into being. An apple was something God imagined, it came into being. You are a human being. Yes, God imagined the human race, but he imagined within that race, each individual human was individually imagined. When God said, this human prototype can be so many personalities, each personality was individually pondered. So you are very unique, and that ought to make you happy that you were tailored, you were crafted to be nobody but you, and somebody else wants you to not be you. They want you to be Jesus. They want you to be Allah. They want a Borg mentality when the root word of universe is the same thing as unique. One, uni. You is the one. Not the gods that you're worshiping, but the God within you, influencing your experience. So here again, right, we see that we are misled right back into worshiping Christ through Atlantis, through Lemuria, through Hyperborea. People, I can't stress enough that you do not need to conclude in mythology. Mythology is fun, it's exciting, it's interesting. But what makes it interesting to Brother Sanchez is decoding it, not taking it literally. What makes this God interesting to me is I start wondering, okay, what did the ancestors was trying to personify? And I start thinking like an investigator. To some people, they don't do that. They look at this image and they say, they take it for face value. They say, okay, so it was fish people walking around with tridents, living on a magical island. And that's the dumb way they want you to interpret it. So you stay on the surface. You only get the myth. That's like believing that Jack and the Beanstalk was real. What did the story try to teach you is the real mess, the real learning. Goldilocks and the Three Bears wasn't a real story, but the lesson we learned from it was very real about being selfish, about stealing, doing what's right. That was real. Jesus wasn't a real person, but the lessons we can learn from these gods is very real. It don't make the gods real. And that's where humanity got out of sync along with everything else I was talking about. So you got to get off the surface and learn to decode the mythology. Otherwise, you'll be on surface value and it will be occult to you. This is what creates the occult. This is why only a certain few people know the truth, because only a certain few people going off of the surface. Most people look at this image and they start believing in literally fish people. Now let's keep it moving. Most people see this image and they literally think that it was fish people walking around. They don't understand that these Dagon priests wore fish clothes to personify the North Pole. Okay? Back in medieval time, the priests of Dagon wore fish clothes to personify the North Pole. I got news for you. They still do it today. There you go right there. See, this is a priest of Dagon. Now, I just turned on my air conditioner. I want to know, can y'all still hear me? Keep it on. Let me get a sound check. Can y'all hear me with the AC on? Let me get a 1 in the chat room if y'all can still hear me right now, even with my AC going. We good to go. We can have air conditioning. For the longest I was streaming and I was sweating my ass off just for y'all. Just so you can have good audio quality. Brother Sanchez in the Las Vegas heat with no air conditioner. Cause whatever I can do to make the show better for y'all, even if it takes sweating under my shirt, I'll do it. But what I just learned now is I could have been had my AC on and y'all can still hear me. So I was burning up for nothing. I was burning my black ass up for nothing. All right, now I'm gonna take another 1 minute break and we're gonna move on into the next part of the lecture. Thank y'all for going with me with these long ass presentations. Country boys talk slow, and when they got a lot of information to give, it turned out being 4 hours and shit like that. So let me get a 1 minute break and then we're gonna come back and finish this thing off, and we're gonna go even deeper.
Than I did the last time. I'm always trying to improve my performance. I think that's one thing I just continue to do.
folks, we are back. Let's go ahead and keep digging deep, baby, and getting with this knowledge. Now, last but not least, I think this is the last race, which is the Aryan race. And this can be confusing. Why? Because the Aryan race were a member of the ancient Aryan people, and in Nazi ideology, a person of Caucasian race, not of Jewish descent. So regular white people would be called Aryans. And if you go to prison, there's a white boy gang called the Aryan Nation because of this. Because we're taught by historians that Caucasians were the original Aryan race. Okay? And the reason they separate them from the Jews is because of that biblical literature. They got to live out the literature. The literature is a direct reflection of what was going on in medieval times in literal history, but you got to decode it and interpret it. So during that time when the church was ruling, history was recorded in religion. So when we read the Bible, we getting a plagiarized form of history that was corrupted and ran through the eyes of a biased historian, because the people who was writing history during that time were the invaders. And when they took over a place, they had to rewrite history as if they wasn't the invader. And they had to rewrite history under pseudonyms and false names to hide the fact that if y'all tell us the truth what happened, you'll be writing into history how you fucking crusaded our ancestors and corrupted and stole their knowledge. So there's a lot missing from our history, and you got to know that when you approach any historical references. Without knowing that and you taking it for face value, you will not know the truth. There's always two sides to a story. Remember that the people that was written out of history are not here to speak for themselves, so that when you get in history, you only get one side of the story. The people who was written out of history can't speak for themselves. So keep that in mind when doing research, that whatever you're reading from whatever historian is going to be biased and centered toward Western domination. All right, so with that being said, the Jews and the Aryan race are different. The original Gentile didn't have nothing to do with black people and colored people, because where Christianity started at, there were no colored people to our understanding. At least the religious art don't show black people in it. When you go back to ancient Crete and all these early Hellenistic cultures, they were predominantly Caucasian. But the Caucasians was going through colorism. I know y'all like, that's crazy. How can white people go through colorism? Yeah, they had favorites. They had different types of white people that they favored high or low in their own society. And that became played out to us in mythology as Jews and Gentiles. See, this is what you got to realize. All the people who call themselves Gentiles today, the ancients ain't even got a word in their vocabulary called Gentile. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Here go Bro Sanchez again being deep now. Here he go thinking too much. All the people that's calling themselves Gentiles today because they taking the Bible literally, our ancestors didn't have a word called Gentile. The people who had the words Gentile and Jews was talking about their own people. Just like you got Haitians and Dominicans that separated on different crazy dumbass classes, what the fucking deceivers plant inside of a people to separate them people from within. That's how the enemy work. He ain't gotta divide you. He plants seeds in your society that divide y'all up against each other by trying to impress him. You know how your brothers and sisters may be getting along just fine. Then company come over and they try to show out, they start going against each other. That's what happened. When these people came to our land, we tried to show out for company. They started dividing us up by us trying to impress the fucking guests. and you start to transform and be whatever they wanted you to be in your effort to impress them. And we was dividing up who we really were, dividing up amongst each other, trying to impress the damn enemy. That's how it was. And we still doing it. Dividing up each other to impress the enemy. So let's talk about this Aryan race, right? But we're going to read some more. Aryan has its root, a term that was used as a self-designation by Indo-Iranian people. So when you hear the word Aryan, it sounds like Iran or Iranian, right? The term was used by the Indo-Aryan people of the Vedic period in India as an ethnic label for themselves. What I just told you. All of these terms were what these people were used to refer to themselves. Then when their religion got popular, other dumbasses started adopting the terms when it never had nothing to do with you. But when you adopted the enemy's religion, you start adopting these terms that they use to label for themselves. I'm going to read that again. That's very important. The term was used by the Indo-Aryan people of the Vedic period in India as an ethnic label for themselves, and later referred to the noble class as well as the geographic region known as area where Indo-Aryan culture is based. Now let me break that down to you for the slow people. You just read that this term was an ethnic label that these people used for themselves, and it later was extended to refer to the noble class. Why is that important? That show you that this title became popular as the religion grew and became rich, because it did not stop being exclusive to those people until those people spread their culture and they became part of the noble class. Put a 1 in the chat room if you still tracking with me. Put a 2 if I need to go into that some more, because that may lose some of y'all. Did you know what do you know what I'm telling you, what we're reading right now, right? Do y'all see what I'm saying? This was a term they used to refer to themselves, but when they spread their culture out and they became rich and noble, then it was extended to refer to the noble class. J Royal and Trucker Trade got tools up. I think they probably feeling me now. Okay, I'm gonna reiterate it on it again, just because we got a small amount of tools out there. Just like the word Gentile or the word Jew, right? Think about it, right? Or the word Hebrew, right? You got a group of black people standing up on corners calling themselves Hebrew Israelites, but they adopted that name from a specific group of people who created that term for themselves. So let me break this down to y'all. I'm going to break it down to y'all using the Hebrew Israelites. A Hebrew ain't nothing that the black people who using the title created. In other words, black people ancestors didn't have a word called Hebrew either. We did not. When the word Hebrew came into being, it was synonymous with the rise of the New World Order. This was when these noble classes was starting to pop up. Y'all got to realize something. We ain't always been in a class system. It ain't always been a noble class. The noble class had to grow their empire. And I'm showing you how that happened from the first pharaoh. How you get all these different ruling families and noble men and women, as they call them. Now today, you got poor people like poor black people called the Hebrew Israelites, who downtrodden and abused in this system, but we find hope in the Bible because it tells us we the chosen people. Now, when we say we the chosen people as Hebrew Israelites, we're saying we are noble men and women, and we're part of that noble class. And what is the name that we adopt? We adopt the name Hebrew because Hebrew is a name that referred to one of those noble classes that spreaded their culture around the world. Why y'all think I keep pulling up the Hebrew cosmos? Because the Hebrews got their fucking knowledge. They was successful at making their culture popular. So all of these cultures that you can go back and still study their shit, they was reaping the benefits of selling their ideology and culture, just like people do today. If you like Asian culture, you gonna buy chopsticks, you gonna buy Asian, you gonna spin with that culture and make them more richer as they spread their ideology. And you may even go so far as to adopt the name of those people if you idolize them that much. But you got to keep in mind that name did not mean you when they created it. They was referring to them. Just because you adopted the name don't make you one of them. Now do y'all get what I'm saying? I'm going to read this again. The Aryan term was an ethnic label that the Aryan people of the Vedic period in India used as a label for themselves. You got white people today calling themselves Aryans. People. They are not from the goddamn India. People. White people did not originate from the Vedic period in India. So why are they calling themselves Aryans? That's what I'm trying to teach you today. They adopted the name of a noble class. That's not even really who the fuck they are. Now put a 1 in the chat room if you feel me now. I shouldn't get no 2s now. How these people create a label for themselves, and the people they spread their culture on start to adopt that same label when it had nothing to do with them. In its conception, it had nothing to do with you, but you adopted it because you serve in that culture. It's simple. Now the question is, why did white people adopt the name Aryan? Well, because white people adopted the God of the Aryan people. Who was that God? Here we go right here. Looks familiar, don't it? The God Mazda, which is the root word of Amazon. A car company called Mazda. The root word maze. What is a maze? It's a ripple effect. The spiral goddesses. He's the patriarchal form of the goddesses. This is a maze or a maz. This is a spiral. The Tower of Babel is a spiral. This is a spiral or a maze. Aren't you amazed? This is the spiral of life. Aren't you amazed? Root word of Amazon. The Naga represents the maze or Pandora's circle. Go look at that movie, Pandora's Maze. I think it's called Pandora's Maze. Yeah, you can look it up. I ain't gonna waste your time. But here he is. This is Saturn, the Lord of the Rings. I showed you this God earlier, and I'm showing him to you again so that you can sync him to so you can sync him to him. All right? Very simple. This is the Sumerian god Anu. This is the Aryan god Mazda. It's the same God, people. It's the same God. Thank you, Digital Dust. It's Pan's Labyrinth. Pan's Labyrinth is the earth. Y'all tracking with me? So this is why white people call themselves Aryans. Because this became the god Zeus to them. This became the god Odin. And they adopted the name Aryans, just like we adopt the name Christian when we start following Christ. Same shit. They was doing it back then. And we still see that the white people call themselves the original Aryan race, and that their religion still worship this God in the form of Jesus. So this God was being worshipped by many people all around the world under many different names. And as you can see, this book is volume 1, The Great Migration. That's that migration I'm telling you about, from her story to his story. We were leaving matriarchal spiritual systems to patriarchal spiritual systems. So the god Maz replaced the goddess Ma'at. The goddess Ma'at predates the god Ma'azda. And we still under the patriarch today. We're not back to the goddess yet. Because when you go to Egyptian and Kemetic people, they ain't talking about Ma'at. They talking about Anu, Set, the Sphinx, the Pharaoh, which is this guy. So what am I showing you? Everybody original race goes back to the first families until you go pre-dynastic. And you got a bunch of people on flat earth, when you go to talk about human origins, they send you back to the first God by telling you about Atlanteans, Hyperboreans, Lemurians. That ain't telling you who our ancestors are. That's telling you those noble classes that was created when they stole the knowledge. Are y'all tracking with me? When you trace your history back to Lemuria, Atlantis, you going back to a plagiarized Plato form. You going right back to the Lord of the Rings. Because those advanced races are mythological interpretations of the royal families. And I'm showing you that right now. I'm showing it to you as plain as day. I told you flat earth was under a Masonic takeover. Now the people that's giving you all this corruption, you see them on ABC, NBC, doing collaborations with YouTubers with 250,000 subs and shit, even though they channel small. Because this is what the popular power is trying to push. That's why I read to you earlier, all of these theories about advanced races is part of popular culture. This ain't got nothing to do with ancient and pre-dynastic shit. That's what I'm telling y'all in this video, and I'm proving it. We just read that. We read it, that all of this advanced race talk is just offshoots of evolution. Either you come from monkey people, or you come from goddamn fish people, serpent people, but you corrupting the zoo-type science. You taking it literally. Our ancestors put themselves with animals because they had zoo-types. And the deceivers want you to take it literally, and they laughing at you because you are promoting evolution. They don't care if you say, okay, we didn't evolve from monkeys, we evolved from the Aryans, or we evolved from the Atlanteans. You still talking about some damn fish people. That's what Jesus is. The Christians say Jesus created life, and they say Jesus is a fish man. See, you going right back to this corruption. They don't care how you get it, long as you get the damn indoctrination. Here go your Lemurians, Atlanteans. Listen, I like this collage. It says something very fishy in Western religion. I got news for you. You may not be a Christian, but if you believe in Hyperborea, Lemuria, all these fish people, you are still being indoctrinated by Western religion, by these plagiarists who corrupted the ancient science by teaching us to take it literally when our ancestors was always using that as personification. We knew that though, but we got amnesia now. They indoctrinated the future generations. We knew not to take that stuff literally. We knew our ancestors weren't saying we come from fish people. Now they created slaves and ignorant people, got them taking it literally. And it's that literature that rule the world out of your ignorance. Because you take their literature literally, they get to rule the world, because if you believe we come from fish people, who are personifying the fish people in our reality? If you believe you come from fish people, you saying the royal family created me, not God. And that's what they want you to do, because they put themselves in the place of God. So it is something very fishy about Western religion. And in case you didn't know, Hyperborea talk, Lemuria talk, fish people talk, all of that is Christianity, man. It wasn't always just Jesus being a fish. Before Jesus, you had Dagon. Here he go, this was Jesus. Look, you can see the cross on his head. That go the cross. It's Jesus. Back in the day, this was Jesus. So when you say I come from Atlanteans, you need to know what you're talking about. All of that stuff come from early Christians. They've been worshiping fish god and fish people, because they portray the royal family in the form of fish people. And we still doing it today, because Masons is corrupting us to go with these mythologies and not telling us that the fish that we come from is in the center of the earth. It's not a person. It's a personification of power. And it just so happened that the people who personify themselves as a fish, they got power. This is magic, man. Back in pre-dynastic time, we personified our goddesses as serpent deities, mermaid deities as fishes. And it empowered us. Today, our enemy personify themselves as fish gods, and it empowers them, because we don't understand that the fish represented power to the ancestors. So that's why it's something very fishy in Western way of thinking. We talk about Atlanteans and fish people and all of that, because we were corrupted by the royal family that rule over our region. Their zoo type is the fish. The royal family that rule over the Chinese and all of them, their zoo type is the dragon. What I'm trying to do is showing you how every country got an animal or a zoo type. Over here on an international level, it's the eagle as well, which is the form of Horus, that shows that we come from Egypt under the god Horus. That's why we got the pyramid. So if you look at Egyptian culture, before, like I said, a fish and a serpent was animals used to personify the same energy. So when you go to Egypt, what you see, the serpent. Now the dragon is the form of the serpent, what you see in Asia and Cambodia and Angkor Wat. These are zootites, and they were not literally fish people. Okay, so understand what I'm saying here today. And if everybody get what I'm saying here about the fishiness in Western religion, and the people on the flat earth that's trying to get you back with the fishy shit, put a 1 in the chat room. All of this Hyperborean talk and all of this stuff, taking it literally, is corrupting us. It's giving you Christianity all over again. You didn't come from no fish people. The fish was a concept that showed where all of creation come from. But when you think you literally come from fish people, you just giving honor to the royal families. So I want y'all to understand the nature of that deception. And I think y'all do. That's why I see the ones in the chat room. So at this point, I can stop then. That completes today's mystery school. Now, what I can do, I can probably go live again. I don't want to make no promises. But what I'll do for 30 more minutes, I'll get in the chat room. We'll end the show with Q&A. We'll read comments, read super chats. Zoned Out, if you want to debate, we'll do another live. So it won't make this one so long. If you're serious about debating me, Zoned Out, email me right now, and then I'll start us a hangout behind the scenes so we can be waiting. I'm gonna take me like a 30-minute to an hour break. 30 minutes will be good. And I'm gonna open up that call with Zoned if he really want to debate. I got time, we can do it. So just go and send me a little email. We're gonna end this one, and that'll give us another fire show, man, instead of just having one big long. We all need to take a break, go and stretch, drink some water, come back here in 30 minutes, and we'll have an open panel. Big Phil said play some beats. We can do that too. So I guess we can have an open panel. So what we'll do on the next show, we'll open it up with Man Zoned Out debate. We'll start 30 minutes to an hour with that. And I'm gonna get Zoned Out permission because it's his panel too. He was the first one to ask me that, so I'm gonna respect that. And if he wanna allow other challengers or other viewpoints on that panel with us during our debate, we'll do it. We'll do it. But I want it to flow right. If we're gonna be debating, I don't need a lot of people. So I'm pretty sure Zone probably gonna want the microphone with me with a one-on-one for the first portion. And we'll open it up and let all the brothers, we can start coming on, dueling it out with a Royal Rumble, you know. So that's what we'll do. And I'll be back later to do that. I don't know what he can debate me about with all the jewels I dropped and me showing and proving with the slides and imagery. I don't see how he can do nothing but be enlightened with the show and say, damn, bro, I learned a lot. I don't see how you can debate me, but since I'm always open-minded to knowledge, I'm very interested to hear what I said wrong or what I might have said you want to debate. Like, you really got me interested in the argument, because I didn't think I would have any arguments after that very detailed presentation. But we do, so I'm very interested to see what we got. Let me show some love to the show supporters. Another big shout out to Brother Moses and Ish Perry and my sister Soul Got It. And a big shout out to the sister Rachel the Baddest. Make sure you sub to her YouTube channel, Rachel the Baddest. And my brother Glitch in the Matrix. My brother Big J. Appreciate you too. And I am that guy. That guy does supports always. And I appreciate all of y'all support. Let me also give a shout out again to all of my Patreons. Everybody, some of you waiting on crystals, bear with me. Shout out to everybody sending in the Cash App donations, PayPal donations, all of that good stuff. Yep. Shout out to my peoples, Teardrop Hall, and just all of my peoples who support me. Let me get out of here so we can set up the next show and I can take a little break and get everything ready for the next show. Peace, y'all, and much love.